I'm a superhero. Lord and the man, find me in the forest with lambs, 4-4 in my hand, reading the Gregorian chant. I lust for bad bitches and luxurious grams. No mortal can do what a warrior can. Yeah, they call me the champ. You salute when you stand, and if you ever talk shit, you recall and recant. Peace to all of my fam. Real wolf, yeah, since the start. Goon music, AOTP, my whole squad. All love and respect to the names I need. When you say my name, recognize that I made this lane. Yeah, I made this way. Never did it pay to play. I'm a superhero. I'm here to save the day. That's not an S on my chest, unless it's semi-auto. When the vest on my chest, I got my hand on my 9 and my hand on my pumping. One last thing, fuck Donald Trump.
I said it's Shakey, baby, putting these kids to bed. I'm in the driving seat lounge, steady stacking his bread. I read the same cat who's sipping juice and gins that I refuse to lose. That's why I always win. I'm repping for the era of the hustlers. Max Pips and players with the yellow brick roads, they be paving gold. And all these punk ass haters, they be out of control. Everybody stomping, frontin', like they straight out of Compton. Step up, you get the Stone Cold Stunner, ricochets and fragments from these young guns gonna send a 1, 2, and 3 into the 4. It shakes and laid back, that be banging hardcore. When your Lex scoops Jeeps to your cruising 6-4s. Shit, best to fill up my glass, it's clear, cause we the players of the year.
Type of life and some full garments. High-rise apartments, work for Colombian farmers. Black Benz, black rims with the glass tint. Dresses on my women, show they titties in the ass print. It ain't no future in your front and leave it past tense. I get some crack and Mac 10s to leave it back drenched. Hitman up on the payroll, so lay low. I throw some bread down on you a-holes, get halos like niggas in Waco. When I say so, they blaze though. Leave a gaping hole in your face when they blow. Latino killers at Felipe and Pedro. Plaid shirted niggas that are waiting for a peso. Bloody bodies hit the pavement when that pistol shakes. I turn the grams at my own estate to Crystal Lake. I'll be the last one you encounter with the nickel plate. No average joke, I rip the dope from that official way.
What's poppin'?
What is good, my God?
Just chilling. We international on this one. Philippines, U.S., and our special guest.
We all over the map right now.
Yes, sir.
You've been ghosted for the whole week, man. What you been up to?
I've been working. Wifey opened up a vape shop, got a customer service company going, just opened up a call center. Been in the studio like crazy, recording and writing tracks like heavy. But we here, man. Shakey Vibe Podcast, episode 15.
Facts. 15. That's crazy,
good,
bro.
It's good. 15 is gonna be a bang. They don't even know. They don't know what's up. So how's the weather in Florida? Cold?
It's confused.
Yeah.
It's cold one day, hot the next. I don't know what's going on anymore.
Just like the rest of the world, right?
Yep. That's why I got my sweater in the back. Just in case.
We here. We got old boy Dilla in the house.
What is good? Dam Gloria. Shorty do what? The modeling girl of Instagram. This girl models better than anybody else. That's a fact.
Game on lock.
That's a fact.
So
if everybody bothers my little sister, I swear for the Lord, I'll knock the crap out of you. I'm trying to be PG. I'm not trying to curse too much anymore. Fuck that. Yes, I am.
So we got a special guest in the house,
As a fact.
producer extraordinaire. This man is produced for literally anybody you can name, for the most part, of the originators of the G-Funk West Coast music scene. We got
Facts.
my homie, my boy from France, representing Ireland, Mr.
Facts.
Laid Back Sound, king of the G-Funk era.
What is good?
Popping, my guy. Oh, gotta turn your mic on. Sorry.
No worries. I can already feel the energy. What an intro. Thanks, man, to have me here. Thanks, Ray. Thanks, Shakespeare. A pleasure to be here again. And yeah, let's talk and let's have fun as well.
We're gonna have fun. Believe
yeah.
you me.
I'm sure I will have. I can already feel the energy, like I was saying anyway. For sure.
So, like, me and you have history. We got history back, and it's just weird. Me and you connected through the Philippines hip hop scene.
Yeah.
And that's like what is your connection? Okay, so like if people go on your channel, hit up your channel and stuff like that, they're gonna be like, if you don't say holy shit, like the first thing you do when you start seeing some of the people you've made beats with. We'll get into that, but how did you get connected to the Philippines hip hop scene?
To the Philippine hip hop scene is through the wifey. You know, she's from the Philippines, and I was there. I won't lie. I was there first for holidays and all, and I don't like it. You know, I'm exactly like you. I don't like to chill for so long. I always have to to get busy, and usually when I get busy is with music. So I can have 1 or 2 days chilling, and then your brain start to work and start to make plans. Like, yo, I'm here. Why I shouldn't make music here as well? And I kept on saying that to her for so long. And I said, you'll see one day I'll produce some of your kabayans, some of your people in the Philippines. And I started to browse, to search. But it's dating from long now. The first songs that I've produced in the Philippines was in 2005, 2006. As well, I was producing a R&B group there, a girl R&B group, because there was a time I was not only doing G-Funk. It's like when you're an artist, you want to venture to different kind of music sometimes.
You want to discover your sound.
That's exactly that. But I already discovered my sound, which was G-Funk. This is my first love. But for like 2 or 3 years, I was branching out a little bit. Now I'm back in G-Funk for now 10, 12 years, because this is what I love. But to start with, I did a little bit of everything, like you were mentioning. And so I was producing R&B, dancehall music as well, because I've traveled to Africa where I produced a dancehall album in Zimbabwe and in Nigeria as well. Big up to my homies in Nigeria, in Zimbabwe.
You all over the place with that.
Oh,
man.
yeah, that I was, I come from a place in France that is very mixed. And when we grew up between African people, Asian people, Caucasian people, and the way we grew up, let's say in a low class society, because I'm coming from very humble class society. We all mixed up, and it's a beautiful thing, because you explore so many cultures, food. It just makes you want to travel. So when I was 19, I said, you know what? Don't want to say bad things, but I love my country. But I say, fuck France. I want to see the world. And
I want everybody in the chat to go put "fuck France" on the comment.
No,
exactly.
No.
Oh, I created a monster.
Do it.
You know the way it is. So anyway, I've traveled a bit everywhere. The first country that I've been in and I've worked as well was Malta, in between Europe and Africa. You know the place.
Yeah.
And then after that, I moved to Asia. I moved I've been to Africa. And for the Philippines, because to come back to your question, which stays unanswered for now, I started to produce like R&B a group there. I had some super ideas, and the sound was quite new for there back then. Sorry, they were only doing revivals, and I said, you know what, fuck revivals. I want to do some original shit, and I was mixing that West Coast sound with a bit of R&B. For some reason, and it was on a major label. Exactly. For some reason, the manager fucked up, and they wanted to push for the first single. At first, they wanted to push for my first single, but they pushed that I was producing. Sorry, but they pushed for a revival to play the safe card. And funny fact is that it was in 2006, in a time when nobody was doing the modern R&B type of stuff with the drum rolls and all this stuff. And I was doing that back in the day already. 3 years fast forward, it became the kind of sound that R&B was there for the local artists. They started to do and starting to love and promote. And I was like, shit, if this group would have kind of listened to me, and I'm not saying that as an ego thing or whatever, they would have been advanced compared to all the other people who were playing it safe. But they played safe. And anyway, 1 year later, I came back there and I started to produce, to link up with a group. And funny enough, they were doing boom bap music back then. It was
still big in the Philippines now.
Still big, yeah. Turbulence Records. So Turbulence Records, their manager was B-Rock. It's called B-Rock there. He's still he has still a weight in the music industry. Is managing Quest with a very famous R&B singer on the Warner, if I remember. Warner or Universal, I don't remember anyway.
I think Warner.
I think it's Warner, yeah, exactly. You know better than me now, Shakespeare. You're living there.
Yeah.
I'm just a foreigner. You're local now, man.
I am.
You are. And then yeah, over the years, every time I was going back every year, I developed contacts, relations, and fast forward right now, it's funny because through a friend, I connected to my homies in Dumaguete, aka Marv and Sick P.
Yeah.
Who are my boys. I'm rolling for them. They're riding for me. It's a family thing. And we're producing that G-Funk because those
you
guys
are getting views, like no cap. You guys are getting like hundreds of thousands of views on your releases. It's not like
for indie, you're right, but for indie it's okay, especially G-Funk, which I won't lie, in 2021, 22, it's a niche market. It's not like back in the 90s. I have some good friends on the West Coast, and they always told me, Laidback, you're not lucky, homie, because you came up 10 years later. And if I'm 43, I would be born, let's say 7, 8, 9 years earlier. I could have make it on the West Coast. But with my sound,
I don't know. Your catalog's pretty fucking deep, homie.
It's deep for an independent cat, but on a major way, I've not been there. Except I have a few experiences, but me and the major labels are never. I'm too free. I'm a too free spirit to be enslaved, if you know what I mean.
How does a guy at this time traveling the world, doing all of that shit, making music where you travel, how the fuck do you connect to some of the OGs that you've connected to in the G-Funk West Coast circuit? We're gonna play some of your music in a little bit, but it's not like, it's just, how the fuck does that come about? You say you came late, but yet you've done tracks with heavy fucking hitters. Hitters.
That's a good question. Thanks. The saying is, I started producing and making beats in 2000, so like 2000.
Yeah.
So it's like 21 years now. It was in a weird time in France, particularly speaking, because you couldn't make music if you were not part of a crew, or if you didn't get the Benjamins, if you didn't get the money, because you used to. I mean, you had to buy an MPC. You need to buy a SP 12,000. This shit cost so much money back then, and for a cat like me, coming from where I'm from, it was impossible. Or the second solution was to link up with some guys who were your kind of founder, but it's not for me. Financier, but the way it works in hip hop. After that, you owe people, and I've never been someone. Even Ray, I'm sure it's the same. And I've been in the States so many times; it's exactly the same. And then, at first, they leave you alone. They will say, "Oh, produce your stuff, start to grow your art," but 1 or 2 years later, they'll come back to you and they say, "I want you to do this shit. It's me who pay for your equipment." I already pictured that. Even if I was very young back then, I was like 20, 21. I would say, no way. I prefer to wait a bit. I took some shitty work, man, like even seasonal work, and yourself, you put the hand in the dirt and save up money and bought a laptop. And I was like, okay, in my town was boom bap, was not G-funk at all. Like coming from Nantes on the seaside, on the west of France, they were all about boom bap, New York sound, which I respect and love.
Yeah.
But I was one of the only one to do that West Coast there at that time, and I started with a laptop and a wax software that I bought in the equivalent of Walmart in France. It was, I remember, because it was an imitation of Fruity Loops. It was, remember Image Line Fruity Loops? That's still
No, I just
version.
I just remember Fruity Loops.
Yeah, it was the same kind of looking software, but it was like a copy version that Walmart. It's Leclerc in France, but it's the equivalent of Walmart was
Okay.
doing. Anyway, too much technical detail. Sorry. So I started with a laptop and a software, and when I was showing my beats to the guys in my hometown, they were like, "Man, you're not using MPC. You're not using this and that. That's not real hip hop." And it was really narrow-minded spirit back then. I said, I don't care, because I know that in 20 years or even in 10 years, people will only use computers. And I knew that back then in 2000. So I continue my stuff, improving and everything. And then I arrived in Ireland in 2002, end of 2002. And I started to hook up with a lot of African MCs in Ireland. So I hook up straight away with the African community. I clicked as well because of my background in France, growing up with a lot of African homies, and we had the same vision of hip hop. There is a dope as well, Irish, what you call that, Irish crew and lots of Irish MCs that are super dope. But I clicked more with the African guys, and we were doing kind of American oriented kind of hip hop. So they were coming from Nigeria, from South Africa, from Cameroon, from every countries in Africa, you name it. It was a beautiful thing, and we did lots of live gigs. We were quite popping back then because I was part of one of the group. I was one of the producers. It's a group called Genesis, and it was a pretty active group back then, and the first African group assembling so many African nationalities. So it was really like super dope back then. Even doing music videos, they were releasing music videos in 2003, 2004, before YouTube was really massive.
Popping, yeah.
So it was that's my background, and really international, independent background. And later on, as I was doing G-Funk, I said, you know what? I'm producing my African homies. Sometimes I'm producing my Asian homies. I'm doing G-Funk. Why I shouldn't hook with the originator? Because we all know in Europe, we love hip-hop.
Yeah, facts.
But you know the way it is. We know where hip-hop came from. We know it came from New York, then later on migrated to the West, to the South, and I was like, man, let's hook up with the originator. And I've been in California first time, it was 2007 or 2008, with one of my best homies, Shakey. Actually, he has almost the same name as you, Shakespeare. You just dropped the P.
Yeah.
He's a French and Senegalese guy. And we went to so many concerts. We went to the House of Blues to see DJ Quick and the Dog Pound. All the famous cats.
That's fucking dope.
Exactly.
That's so sick.
It was really nice. We were about to hook up with them. But it was not the time for me, I guess, because my car broke down, and the guys in the car didn't wait, and I had a beats demo with maybe 50, 60 beats back then, 2007. But the way it is, it's not my time. So we enjoy our 2 weeks there, and back in Ireland, continuing to produce my homies from Africa. And later on, I came back several times, and finally in 2013, it was through the net, through social networks, I hook up with one of my best guy there in Long Beach, Quick the Mac. So what happened is I knew a guy in France. He was producing a guy from the south of USA, an old guy who was working with Al Green. He's a funk guy called Enois Scroggins from Oklahoma. And that guy had on featuring my friend Quick the Mac, and I mixed that track. And their manager called me and said, I like the way you mix, because I'm an engineer as well. I mix and master tracks. Could you mix my album, man? So that's Quick the Mic who reached out to me and I said, yeah, let's do. I like to try, I like to do a test. So I said, send me one of your songs. I'll mix and master it. So I did the work and he was like, shit, I like your sound. It's really clean. And I have a particular way to mix. I'm mixing. Some people like a bit dirty, like boom bap, but I love when stuff is extra clean. Sometimes people don't relate to that, because they like a bit of grimy flavor and all that kind of stuff. I love the clean sound. Like I absolutely love guys like Battle Cat, like DJ Quick. For me, they are the boss of the West Coast. They have a super clean and around, and so that's what I want to do. I'm far to be at their level because they are on another planet, and they are really professional at what they do. I'm just a child of those guys, they are there, and I'm still here, I'm trying to still get to that level. But anyway, and he said, you know what, I love that track. Can you engineer and executive produce my album? And I was like, yeah, let's go. So he had already some beat makers working on his album, but he asked me to rearrange a couple of tracks as well because, I'm not only a beat maker, I'm a producer. So I know exactly what kind of chorus you need, what kind of sound will go here and there, what kind of sound will fall into that particular pocket in that beat. The way it is. It's not only making a beat, sending it to an artist, and his sound engineer will arrange, will change the part in the chorus. I do everything. I do all this, and if I'm not involved in that, I don't like to give my beat. So it's the particularity of my character as well, producing wise.
That's protecting your talent, though. I mean,
as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
your name, your sound, the everything.
Exactly. So I started to work with him, and that's how I got that featuring with Snoop Dogg. I won't lie, it's not me going to California and knocking at the door and yeah, you know what, I'm Laidback Sounds. No, it's through my friend Quick the Mac. I got that featuring. Blame It on Me. I actually put one of my homie from New York on the chorus because that's another stuff that I do. I put people together, and I love to have, even though if my sound is pure G funk, I don't only want Californian MCs on my track. I love to put a California MC, a New York MC, a Canadian MC. Shakey can witness it because we did a track together, thanks to him actually, not to me. But that's what I love. I love to put Asian people with African people, with Afro-American people. It's what I do. I don't like, if something I don't like is what you call that in English? Communitarism. If that makes sense. Staying in your community. I like to to expand and have everybody mixing.
Yeah, you don't want to do the norm. You don't want to stay in your lane. You expand it. You just.
I've heard a couple of tracks of New York artists on the West Coast beat, and it doesn't sound bad at all.
It's super dope.
The track we did has Cool G Rap from New York. It has fucking Reef the Lost Cause from Philadelphia. So and then we got Winfrey, who's also from Ohio. So it's like. You've got and then the producers from France, Ireland. So like you got a little bit of like everything kind of just right there.
That's it.
Now I got a question.
For sure.
Do you find it more difficult producing for a rapper than an R&B artist?
You know what? I don't find it difficult at all because usually I'm choosing the artist I work with. I don't want to. I refuse so many people reaching out either on the social media or by email before, because I need to feel the character, the person. Like when we linked up with Shakey, for example, it was so chill. So he's like, you know what, I've done that. This is me, Shakey. This is my CV. I like your sound. I'm sure we can do something together. And when he say, you know what, let's do a track with Cool G Rap. You know what? I was in bed when he texted me. And I was like, you know what? I better get out of this fucking bed and hope on my equipment. So I'm not lying. He can tell to you. I was 1 hour later. I sent it already the skeleton of the full track.
Oh wow!
1 hour later, and it's not a beat that was already existing that I modified. It was from scratch. Like
you have to understand, he doesn't use samples. So like
very rarely.
he
Yeah.
doesn't use samples pretty much at all.
So
So
everything's from scratch.
everything's
Yeah.
he's like, yo, typically it takes me a month, and I'm like, okay, cool. So we got a little bit of time on this track, and then like an hour later, he's got the structure of the beat, and I'm just like, yep, okay, I'm gonna start writing to it now.
Yeah, exactly.
We've had a lot of like rappers in here that do their own thing
Yeah.
and do their own mastering and mixing, and they do all that. And we've never had a producer actually
All
come
right.
on the show. So I have like about 20 million questions.
Happy days. Happy days,
But
man. Go for it. Go
I
for it.
would love to hear the other side of that coin, the other side of this is what I do and this is all I do, and how do you perfect your sound and all that. Now, how long should it take, or does it take you to actually make a beat, mastered and mix everything out the door is done?
All right. It's a very good question. We, as a producer, we all have different techniques and different way to start with the beat and the ideas and all. What I do is when I want to work with an artist, like for example, what I did with Shakespeare, and say, you know what, it would be a guy from New York. Shakespeare is more actually a kind of even if it's from Canada, is more like a kind of New York MC. You know, it's all about the lyrics and even the voice is like if I would not have known it's from Canada, I would have believed is from it.
Shakespeare's fire. Shakespeare's fire.
Shakespeare is dope for sure, and he's doing a lot of different kind of hip hop genres, but his base is boom bap.
But that's exactly what got me into listening to Shakespeare. He had that old sound that I was used to listening to back when I was 9, 10, 11 years old walking around Brooklyn.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
It sounded like that, so it resonated with me. So that's his sound is ridiculous. I love his sound.
Exactly. He has a wide range of repertoire, like we say in France, repertoire, but in the States they say repertoire.
You talk like that because my wife is in love. You had an accent. I don't got that.
No, don't worry. The people in France love the American and the Canadian accent. So it's you love what you don't know and what you're not used to hear. It's just what it is. It's not
for sure. For sure.
Nobody is better. We're all the same. It's just this is an exotic kind of accent. I love it. But it's the same everywhere. But to answer your question, the way I start is I do the skeleton of the beat, and I want to make sure that I go in the right direction. So that's why I jump on my equipment when Shakespeare contacted me, and I was like, you know what, let's do the skeleton, and maybe he will say, no, man, I'm not feeling this. And he was like, yeah, because what I was thinking, I will do some boom bap type of drums mixed with some West Coast melodies. That was really my idea for the Shakespeare track with Cool J Rap, and that's what I did. And he said, yeah, you know what, I like that. And once I've done the skeleton, I don't do the full arrangement. I do a 8-bar kind of loop. Okay. And I say, you know what? That's enough for you to write your verses. And then later on, I'll contact. I have a lot of contact of R&B singers, talkbox player, talkbox like Roger Troutman kind of sound. And I say, I'll arrange the chorus later when I'll contact those. But I love to have first the rap vocals on my skeleton beat, because what I do and my way of producing, instead of finishing the beat without getting the vocals, I like to finish the beat halfway, send it to the rapper. The rapper writes, send me back his vocals, his stamps, and then I rearrange the beat around the vocals. Because the vocal, the vocal people, the producers are a bit proud, like rappers are a bit proud, like this is my art, but at the end of the day, the vocals are the main instrument of the song. And sometimes as producers, we want to and I've been guilty so many times of that. We clutter a bit the sound by putting so many instruments here and there. And you forget that, hey man, after all these instruments have taken up all the space, you need to leave space for the fucking rapper. It's and so that's why now I used to, before 10 years ago, complete the beat and send. And sometimes people say, I can't breathe there, man. You can just release the instrumental the way it is. It's good enough. You don't need me.
Right. Actually, my next question for you was that: have you ever done a beat? It's all done. Everything's good. You send it to the rapper, and the rapper's just like, nah, it's trash.
You know what? Of course. I have so many experience about that kind of situation. Not about trash, but
Passport is stamped like crazy. You're all over the place.
yeah, but I'll give you an idea because I'm mixing and mastering, and w- it was a few years ago. I was what you call that? I was contacted by a rapper in California called Dazzy D or Daisy D. He used to be very famous on the West Coast. He had track with everybody. He's a member of the Lynch Mob of Ice Cube Lynch Mob,
Okay.
and he said, you know what? I'm retiring. I want to produce my last single. I want to do my last single. It will be a vinyl. I already have the producer, but I like the way that you engineer tracks. I want my single to be engineered by you. I say, okay, all right, send
That's
me
sick.
everything. So he sent me the stuff, and I mix it the way I usually do, very clean and everything. And he hit me the day after. He said, man, technical wise, the track is wonderful. He said, now,
Make it a little bit more grimy.
yeah, you removed all the feel of the song. And at first, you spend 15 hours mixing. So the little bit part of the ego is like, ah, crap, I fucking
Fuck
spent
you,
50,
motherfucker.
yeah, I spent 15 hours on that track. Wow. But he was the SED. I mean, in the West Coast, is really
He's a
well
legend.
known. He's a legend, exactly. And I was like, yeah, but it sounds cool. And he said, okay, I'll tell you a story. Laidback sounds. One day I was with George Clinton in the studio. So we used to work with George Clinton, all these guys, from the P Funk and funk. George Clinton being the king of the P Funk in the 70s,
Yeah. Parliament.
and exactly. And he said the sound engineer started to mix it really clean and proper, but he killed the vibe. And George Clinton told me it's better to have a more grimy sound, even if there is an instrument was not well recorded on that particular track, but you feel the soul of the music.
Right.
You say sometimes you want to make it too clean and you remove the soul of the music. And what I was doing on that particular mix, there was a guitar and a keyboard that were a bit grimy, and I kind of put lots of EQs, effects, and I removed the soul or
You
the
polished it too
direction
much.
of the producer. Yeah, over producing or over mixing. And he made me understand that it was the first time, especially because he has a status there in the West Coast, and I was like, okay, I'd better listen to that man. And so you have lots of requests like that, and actually he accepted my second version, and then it came out as a vinyl, and I think I have it somewhere there. I'll show it to you
That's
later.
dope.
But
Now
and
in New York, when I was young, like very young, they were the saying was hip hop was created by the DJ.
yeah,
Back in the day, the DJ was the star of the show. The man that made the beat, that made everyone jump up and do what they do. The rapper sometimes will come in and spit a couple of bars and
yeah,
okay, cool. But the DJ is
The rapper was the hype man back in the day.
that's how I always had thought about hip hop. So in some of my reactions, the main thing that I think I look at and I hear is the beat
yeah.
and how is mixed, matched, and edited, and all that. I have a lot of respect for fucking producers because I know it's not fucking easy.
It's not easy, and even though you believe you did a good job, sometimes the artist doesn't feel that way, and he has his say, especially if he's paying you, and you
Facts.
just have to adapt and swallow back your ego or your opinion, and just say, okay, man, I try to redo it in the direction you're telling me. But you know what? After a few experiences, you need to ask information first. I think
Right.
instead of going your way, you should say what kind of sound you're looking for. Do you want something extra clean, like for example Battle Cat or DJ Quick? Do you want something a bit more grimier, like the New York kind of hip hop? Do you want something with lots of bass? Do you want something with lots of or no bass, like one of the albums right since the last 10 years that has been considered as one of the best mix and master is actually 24 K from Bruno Mars. And if you're listening to that joint, the bass is very little, and it's totally mixed like in the 80s, where the main frequency that was really focused on for the mixing was the mids, like the the
Clap on. Didn't work.
X, you paused. You timed out.
Man, I was all into the conversation, man. Get internet over there.
Let me DM him.
Oh,
Okay,
you
so
go.
no, it's okay.
You're
It's
back.
okay.
You're
It's
back.
back.
You're back.
We are back in the house. So yeah, but it's a trip. And to answer your question, finally, it's yeah, you just have to be patient. I think patience is the key in that situation. But I appreciate that. I really appreciate that you, Ray, that you listen to the beat very carefully. And all. I've checked your channel before joining that podcast, of course, and
Appreciate it.
I see that it's because you know what, a lot of hip hop fans are more about the MC than the people doing the heavy work. I don't say MCs are doing heavy work as well, but man, for a song you can spend
No,
between
the heavy work is the producer for sure.
man for
Hands
between
down.
50,
Hands
yeah,
down.
it's mad. Like I
I
give you
can
an
I can write a
example.
verse on a beat. I think the track we did, it took me half an hour to write the verse for that.
See,
How many hours did you put into the production on that? So it's like
30,
it's not even
35
fair.
hours.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
even fair.
see,
It's
then
not
that's
even
what I'm
fair.
saying, though. Like back in New York, I was around like the battle rappers. I was
Yeah.
around a lot of them, and we had a studio not that far from where I lived. That was a chill spot. That's where we hung out and everything. I don't rap. I don't do none of that. Whoever gets on a beat with me, their career is over. But I sit around and I look at these guys and I'm like, okay, I see as a young kid, I'm like 14, 15 years old. Like I see that you guys are just there, you singing, you smoking whatever you smoking, you writing and everything. But then my boy, is a producer, and I see, yo, he's clocking in more hours than y'all motherfuckers are. Like that's insane to me. But if it isn't for a good producer, I always say this all the time. If the producer ain't fire, that song could fucking tank.
Yeah.
Facts.
Yeah,
Like a
facts.
rapper could be spitting whatever the most fire shit he's ever written. If it's not mix and match, if it's not produced properly, and if the producer didn't find that sound of what he's trying to say, this whole song is a bust. It doesn't work. So that's why when I listen to music, I'm listening to literally everything.
Which is dope. And you know what? You don't need to be a rapper or producer to be able to have a good ear. That's what I'm saying sometimes. You know, sometimes you have
Facts.
artists who say when they get criticized by fans or listeners, they're like, yeah, but you know what? You're not an expert. You don't need to be an artist yourself to have an ear and be able to judge a song that you find is not nice or
That's crazy that you say that because I'm reacting right now to Montana 300, and in the comment section, I said something about because all right, so he was doing the hook, and I guess the producer in the hook he let the 808s go a little bit too long, where you didn't
yeah.
hear it finish the actual
Boom.
ending of that, but it was only in one part. I caught that because I already heard the chorus two more times before that.
Yeah.
I know how the chorus is supposed to be laid out. Over here, I was like, oh, the producer fucked up. That's what I said.
There you
And
go.
somebody in the bottom was like, how the fuck would you know? You're not a producer. You're not even a rapper. Yada, yada. He went crazy. I was like, I have 37 years listening to rap.
That's it, man.
I was
That's
like, I
it.
think that's enough knowledge that I could hear because I don't only listen to rap. I listen to rock. I listen to metal. I listen to everything, country. I listen to all types of. As long as the beat is fire, and I could resonate with the beat, and I could resonate with the person that's performing, the
Yeah.
artist. I don't give a fuck what you're giving me. I'm gonna listen to it. If I fuck with it, I do. If I don't, it is what it is.
Exactly. And you know what? To bounce back on what you're saying, sometimes it's sad because not what you're saying, but sometimes it's sad because you have some super dope MC. They have been mixed in so trashy ways that I feel sorry
Facts.
for the MC because the MC, even though if he didn't put as much time as the producer, he put his heart, he put all his passion into writing, and then the producer is fucking up and he sounds like he has recorded in the cave or in the grot or
Or he
whatever.
rushed the project because he got paid more to do another project, so he doesn't put his blood, sweat, and tears into this project. Like, there's so many fucking things that go on that can ruin the tracks. But when you got that dude that you're working with, the best songs are the ones that are like, the artist brings the beat to life, and the beat brings the artist to life, and they both match
Exactly.
each other's energy.
I try to think of it as in a producer standpoint when I hear that these guys are spitting their heart out, but the beat and all the mixing that was done to it wasn't done well.
Yeah.
And I think of it in the producer standpoint, like I'm literally the first one to hear the finished project. If you hear it, and if your ear is that good and you know it sounds like trash, why would you give that it?
Yeah. That's true, but you know what? It's exactly what I said Shakespeare. Some people, they have their priorities, and if you are in the bottom of the priorities, they will rush the work. And you know what? Some people, they will only apply some preset EQs and compressor. But the
Right.
thing that you have to know. Sorry, my sound card is tripping a bit. That you have to know is every song is different, and the interaction between frequencies and compressor and limiters, a preset won't work because you don't use the same type of drums on every track, the same type of synthesizers, bass,
Exactly.
and every vocals is different, and that's why um, you need to really spend time when you record as well to choose a good mic. Because, for example, Shakespeare and yourself, Ray, you have different type of voice. I have a locker of 4 or 5 mics here in my house. I'm telling you, even if you say you're a shitty rapper, Ray, I will make you sound good, no matter what. Even yeah,
See, but I like what you said earlier. You said earlier that you started to learn off. Oh, okay, that one rapper from the West Coast told you, "Hey, I want a little more gritty sound." Yada yada. That's a learning experience. That's
yeah,
something. As you're getting better, 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 you're gonna run into shit like that.
exactly.
The way I see it is, if producer, you said that you started asking questions. It's kind of like what I do for a living because I work in the service industry for vehicles. Our job is to ask open-ended questions. Don't give me a yes or no answer. I need to get more in depth to see what is it that you want in quality of tire or quality of brakes or whatever it is that you're looking for. And I like that that you said that because of that. Because now you're working as a team.
Yeah,
Now you guys are trying to meet in the middle to come and make the best song that you guys can make.
exactly. And you know what? It's very interesting what you're saying because we talked about the producer adapting to the MC or to the kind of customer or the collaborator, but you have the other way around as well. I'm doing a lot, and I was doing as well in the past lots of recordings only. So sometimes I don't mix and master tracks or produce, but people come to my place to record. And some people, sometimes I used to yes man, and even in the industry, uh, when the guy has a charisma, or sometimes it's not in the industry, but it can be local and is a kind of real G in the local region. When he enters in the studio, everybody who he is and everybody don't want to fuck with him in a kind of no, you know what? You have to redo another take. You need to, you should sound. I never was like that. I'm not a. I'm a very cool dude when I produce tracks and work with people, but I'm not a yes man. So when it's me on the console and I record you, you can be the biggest G in your city. If you wanted me to record your track, this is me, the boss
Yeah.
on the console, and it's not the boss in a way of I'm not the dictator or whatever. But if I feel that I don't know, you fucked up the take or whatever, I don't care who you are. You will redo the take, and I will explain you gently but surely.
Yeah,
Um, you
but
know,
that makes sense though, because
it
you're
does.
trying to get the best track out. You're trying to make it because
Yeah,
you're no matter what people say, yes, you're the rapper, you're the face of the song, you're doing what you
yeah,
do. But at the end of the day, it says produced by.
yes,
So
and
if you make any trash music that goes out there, fuck who the rapper is. That's
exactly.
your catalog. That's what people are going to be going back to look at to see if I should fuck with Laidback or not.
And you know what? That's a good point as well, because a few times I faced one or two artists.
I need to get a beer. Hold on, brother. Give me a second.
Go for
what
a
I
beer.
want to do, let's segue. Let's hold that thought and segue into
sure.
one of your tracks. Let's feature one of your tracks right now.
Let's go.
Let's segue into, I'll let you introduce it. We're going to play Blame on Me. Blame It On Me. Quinta Mac featuring Snoop Dogg and B. Thompson.
Let's go.
Produced by Laidback Sounds.
Let's go.
All right. Let me pull this up.
I can see Ray pulled Corona beer. That's one of my faves as well.
That's the only thing I drink, Laidback.
That's dope.
All right, let's go.
And it so happens that I never get the fucking line.
I can beat Snoop Dogg.
Yes, sir. I'm at it again. Blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you. Get mad, baby girl, that's just how it rolls. It rolls. Blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you. Right front, you a victim to the game, now give it up. If you blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you.
Blame it on me, and I'ma blame it on you. I'm on my way back to the beach with an album brand new. I leave the peak out for the streets just to see what it do. I'm headed 17, and everything is on you. I got my cousin too cool, he in the back, we on the move. Laid back on the beat, what it's like when I be dipping in my low. Bitches, they be eyeballing like the sky falling. Tables turn bleeding, tell your friend you can't believe it. I left you stuck in cement. I can check you seen it. Your home close hopped in, that's when that low rider crawl like a turtle cross murder. That's when that folk got her. You fucking be in my car, chandeliers with a ball. Got a soul star strut, Snoop, they know who we are. Wood grain dipping, baby girl said I'm tripping, cause the way I'm leaning and the whole tripping.
I'ma blame it on you. Get mad, baby girl, that's just how it rolls. It rolls. Blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you. Right front, you a victim to the game, now give it up. If you blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you.
Blame it on me, and I'ma blame it on you. Put you in the paint and cram it on you. What you thought it was, Big Snoop Dogg, rolling dub. Living my life 20 steps above. I'm in my hotel suite, I don't fuck with clubs. Cause niggas get jealous when I fall up in the club and all the hoes get to yelling. Baby boss dog in this motherfucker. The way she looking, yeah dog, I'm a fucker. And give her to my nephew, Matt Sean. And let him take that bitch to a hoe of her, so she can get her home and on. And wake up in the morning to a continental breakfast with some balls in your jaws. I ain't breaking and blowing. That's the root in the code. Yeah, Big Snoop Dogg breaking hoes. You know.
Blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you. Get mad, baby girl, that's just how it rolls. It rolls. Blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you. Right front, you a victim to the game, now give it up. If you blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you.
Blame it on me, and I'ma plan it on you. They don't know me, and I don't know you. Some things that's left unsaid, like I love you. Baby girl love that red, but I love blue. I'm a jack of all trades, a master of none. Snoopy Jizzle with Mac Man, to do the shit for food. It's a whole lot of kidding when you out on the block, pitching it up in the kitchen. My fingers are still twitching, these niggas are still bitching. I'm up in the gym lifting, I'm trying to take it in the instance. Maybe I'll make a difference. I told her in one line when I first hit television. You thought it was gone, but I'm back with the new edition. You blame it on my mama, or blame it on the crib. So blame it on me, or you can blame it on the bin. You can blame it on that candy paint, dripping off that 6'2", chandelier, swivel seats inside sucker proof. I ain't never cut the roof, but last week I said fuck the roof. I think I need a substitute, something like a moon roof. One button open up, pure game soak it up. That's my brother C-Low, in the back going up. Mixing dark and clear liquor, blame it on the old folks. Man, you can't drive, I'ma call my chauffeur. Blame it on the club, or blame it on the liquor, or blame it on the bartender right after you tip off.
Blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you. Get mad, baby girl, that's just how it rolls. It rolls. Blame it on me, I'ma blame it on you. Right front, you a victim to the game, now give it up. If you blame it on me, I'ma blame
I like that track. That track sounded clean.
Blame It On Me. Quinta Mac featuring Snoop and B. Thompson, produced by the man. Laid Back Sounds.
See, that's what I mean by it. That track right there that we just listened to, it was so clean. Like the 808s wasn't overbearing. It wasn't covering a lot.
It brings me back to the 90s.
And like, I feel like I was wearing
I need to be doing
Chucks, wearing a blue shirt with a blue Yankee hat.
in some three-wheel motion.
Riding in Long Beach.
I got to ask you, how the fuck were you able to connect and get Snoop on a track?
Like I was saying,
fucking big.
Like I was saying, it was, that's true. It was through my friend Quick the Mac. Quick the Mac is a well-known MC in Long Beach. He grew up with all them guys. What happens is Quick the Mac was on Def Jam in the 90s. He was actually he was just signed after Warren G on Def Jam. He's from the same place. He's from the same place as those guys. And his first single was in a group that he had with Lil Half Dead, who is the cousin of Snoop. He was very famous in the 90s as well. He had some 2 classic West Coast albums, Lil Half Dead. And they had a group called Hostile, and they signed to Def Jam. And the first single that Quick the Mac released was produced by DJ Quick. So he was really dope, and he's still dope. He's still making music, actually. We're on contact. We keep in touch every so and then. And he's the one with all the plugs for that was part of his album. And on his album, there were so many guys. He put the Twins, who were under G-Funk era label of Warren G. There were so many guys from the West Coast. I can't even tell you all the names that we had on that album. And I was so glad to be put as an executive producer, because I organize as well all the logistic. When I say logistics, is album designs, so mix, master, kind of give ideas and
get your name with all these artists.
Exactly, and that was a very good experience for me, because I could connect with so many artists through Quick the Mac, and so big shout out to Quick the Mac, because this is the one that really put me on, to be honest with you. And you know what? There is no like a lot of artists will say, I've done tracks with this guy, but they always, not always, but many artists forget to give props where it should be. And my props for all the connections, of most of the connections that when I started really to get them, were through Quick the Mac. And of course, after that, word of mouth. You have other guys who heard that album and they say, you know what, I like the stuff you did for my homie Quick the Mac. Can you produce a song for me? Can you do this? Can you do that? So word of mouth, you connect with more artists.
Always nice.
So as a producer, as a cat in the industry that loves Cali music, because you love Cali music, when you found out that Snoop was going to be on this track,
well, it's
did you fucking jump around the studio? Like, what
he punched a baby when that happened.
Yeah, I know you was, but you know what? My name is Laidback Sounds. I'm very laid back, so I'm not. I've been used to.
Yeah, but it's Snoop Dogg.
No, I know. I was very happy for sure, man. Of course, I won't lie. I'm playing the very quiet guy and all now, but of course I was ecstatic for sure. But it's not this. It's still not the same feeling as being in the. It would have been much different if I would have been in the studio with all them guys.
Right.
Because I was in Europe, they did the track, they sent me back the vocals, and it's different. And even for other collabs that I did, it was a bit different though when I was there. And I produced a track featuring RBX, the legendary RBX, who is on the Chronic of Dre, who, like drop bomb like Hiroshima. That's the famous line.
Yeah.
And I met him. So and I was with the guys and we shot a video in Long Beach, Compton. They picked me up in Inglewood because I was staying in the shitty motel in Inglewood.
God bless you.
And I know, and you know what? People actually gave me respect, and I've traveled so many places. I'm not someone who is, even if I know that some places are dangerous or whatsoever. I mean, I survived Zimbabwe. I survived some place like that. So of course, it's dangerous and all, but I know how to behave and how to maneuver through muddy waters, should I say? And you just need to keep heads down and your head down and be humble, and usually no issue will arise. But they were actually wondering. They say, "Shit, man, you're staying in Inglewood and you have been to that place." And I was in Crenshaw. I was actually just 1 year actually before Nipsey passed. So RIP. I was in his shop actually. Exactly. I was in his shop talking to his brother actually. So I was in Crenshaw and with one of my friends there. And yeah, I've been all across LA, like and when I've been there and hooked up with like Quick the Mac, RBX, and some people were like, "Man, you alone?" I'm like, "Yeah." I drove to San Diego as well, to the hood. We shot a very hood video in San Diego with some of my friends.
Yeah, but it's like when you got street guys saying, "You're in our hood. You came alone."
Yeah,
that's gotta be like these guys.
But the thing about that is he's a producer, so if these motherfuckers want to,
they don't fucking know that. They just see a fucking white guy alone walking down Crenshaw Avenue.
Shirt.
Yeah,
I don't care. All the stereotypes come out about Crenshaw and fucking Compton Boulevard. You're that fucking dude, and then when you talk and you're a fucking French fucking foreigner, man,
with my crazy accent, man.
In Brooklyn, they would have been robbed your wallet a long time ago.
Oh yeah, for sure. But you know what? That's my philosophy of life. Not anymore, because I'm a bit older, and now I feel the danger when there is danger. I used to be a bit of a hothead before. Right now, I will not. If I will be very honest, I will not do that anymore. Like I will not go alone driving in Compton and even when I was in San Diego with my homie Colarossi, a dope artist from San Diego. I did so many tracks with him. Exactly, he put me actually on the track with LV. So
for those that don't know, LV's the one that sings the hook in Coolio's Gangster Paradise.
Exactly.
I love that song. That song is fire.
Exactly. And I produced 2 tracks with him on the hook. The first track actually, and 2 tracks, it was through my friend Colarossi from San Diego, with a dope MC. And the first track we did actually with LV featured as well the son of Eazy-E, E3, Baby Eazy-E.
Okay.
And Big to the A with a member of CMW, the group of MC8 and the Chill. So guys like that. Lots of respect for all them guys, like super talents. And
the names you're dropping are like OGs.
My boy, like I said before, my boy is a producer, but I ask him questions. He tells me to fuck off. So that's why I'm going to ask you all the questions.
Yeah, go for it.
That motherfucker does not want to talk to me.
I love that. You know what? I can speak. I can talk about hip hop and producing and for hours, man. You could have me until 6 a.m.
I can talk for days.
Yeah, exactly. That's it.
So, who are, in your opinions, who would be the top 5 artists you've ever worked for?
I'll say
not worked for. That's like
work with.
Who are the top 5 artists you've ever worked with?
Exactly. So I'd put first Quick the Mac. That's for sure. And that's I'm all about in this game. There are so many fake people and everything. I'm all about loyalty. So I'd say first Quick the Mac. I will not say any particular order because there are so many dope guys I work with.
Right.
I absolutely love Quick the Mac, Colarossi. I've worked as well with Losta, who was under Eazy's Ruthless record. He has a very deep voice, like he's from South Central.
I heard it.
Yeah. South Central, he has a very deep voice. He is one of a kind. RBX for sure. RBX is super dope. To me, is those kind of guys are super underrated because they never branch out to the commercial line or lane of hip hop. They always kept it real, like pure raw hip hop, and that's why I respect so much these guys. In Canada, for sure. You know what? Funny enough, but I work with many guys in Canada, Shakey. But you have been the one giving me the best energy, and we connected on so many levels. Not only because you're from Canada and I have family as well in Canada, but because you have family in the Philippines, I have, and you're dope MC as well. And I'm not saying that because you invited me to that podcast. You know me, I'm not.
No, you're real.
I don't like to brand those people.
You don't
No,
sugarcoat shit.
no. You have seen sometimes, funny enough, Ray, but we talked many times about hip hop, and Shakespeare say, you know what? Do you want to produce for this cat? He's popping in Asia right now, and Shakespeare is a businessman, as well. He's a pretty good, actually, he's a very good businessman, and he's like, I know it's not necessarily your vibe, and I say, Shakespeare, sorry, that's not my vibe.
No,
Bye.
he's literally
We
like,
start-
no.
I don't like this guy. I don't like this flow. He said, yeah, but man, he's popping. I say, yeah, he's a good MC, he's popping, but I really stay in my G-Funk lane, or not only G-Funk, but I love as well.
Bro, to put it into perspective, Ray, Laidback will DM me on WhatsApp and shit, being like, I'm following your channel, before he realized that it's a business. And he's like, oh, I see you're fucking reacting to these guys, eh? Oh, I see.
Oh, yeah.
Like, are you selling out or something? And then I'm like, no, bro, it's a fucking business.
Yeah,
and then he's like, oh, okay, I get it now. Like, so he's like, what? You're fucking fans of these guys now? What the fuck's going on? We got Marv in the house. Blah!
Hey, Marv, what's up, bro?
The homie Marv in
The homie
his
Marv.
house. So yeah, like, to put it into perspective, like, dude keeps it 100, just like all three of us keep it 100. But from a friendship level, he'll DM me and be like, yo, why are you fucking reacting to these guys? And I'm like, to be perfectly honest, because if I get their fan base liking my shit, it's gonna have a steamroll effect into the independent artists that we react to. And then like, it serves that purpose. You got to do some of those fucking things in order to make other things. So like, I had to get a little bit deeper into kind of what he was saying.
When I first started doing reactions, I didn't know it was a business.
Yeah,
I just did it because it was fun. And then I started seeing, okay, in order for me to help these guys out, I got to do these reactions.
Exactly.
But at the same time, I know my worth. I'm not here to trash nobody. So if I don't fuck with your music, that's why I'm not reacting to it.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean we're selling out because
we're selling out at all. It's just that in order for me to get you a bigger fan base to help you out through promotion or however you want to see it, I got to get the subscriber count. That's what it is. Unfortunately, it sucks, but it is what it is. That's why I'm trying to go live more in order for me to go and listen to everybody's songs.
Yeah. Oh no, you know what? I got it's a business, but it was to put into perspective, like Shakespeare say, my kind of spirit. The thing is that I wanted at one stage to jump in a business as well. It was in the mid 2000 when I was in my mid 20s, and I've hooked up with a few major label and everything, but I discovered it was not for me. So I'm more into the now. That's why I became a really indie, and I really stayed in that lane. And my goal right now is really to produce and develop people that are on the same state of mind. Like I've seen Marv join, but Marv is actually one of my artists on Laidback Sounds from the Philippines.
And one of his joints.
You got to play one of his tracks for real.
Oh yeah, exactly. We will play one of his.
Definitely.
And I absolutely love hip hop in the Philippines, and I want to have fun with those guys and help them at the same time to kind of have a clean sound as well. And that's what we're doing now for the last 3 years with Marv and his homie Sick P. And we all, so that's, I have nothing to win now. I have nothing to gain anymore. I see Polar Bear join as well. I'm not Polar Bear? Yeah, and you know what? I will give you a bit of background about Polar Bear as well, because Polar Bear is the first European producer who did that G-Funk stuff in the USA on the West Coast. He moved in 95. He produced. You said I've produced quite a lot of people in the West Coast, but I'm a kid compared to Polar Bear. Polar Bear has produced everywhere, from everyone from Kendrick to Bone Thugs-Harmony to name it. It's just amazing. And he worked with Quincy Jones, with all these guys. He's a Grammy as well. No, I'm not a Grammy. He's a Grammy.
You're gonna get one. You're gonna get one. Laidback is coming. Don't worry about that.
I guess it's a bit too late, and he was.
It's never too late.
It's never too late. That's true. That's actually a good state of mind. And he
You
was the producer
Even
of.
if you're gonna be 89 years old with a walker, you're gonna go on that stage and take that fucking Grammy.
That's it. That's true.
And you're gonna be in your fucking wheelchair saying, "I got it, bitches."
That's true actually. But yeah, it's and I was glad as well to hooked up with that man, the big bro polar bear when I was in California as well. He actually joined me when I was shooting the
Rossi?
no, it was the All Road Lead West. You can see actually a cameo of him at the end, the track that with RBX.
That's lit. We got that one too. We're gonna play a couple more.
Exactly.
I got one
That's
question
lit
before
and dope.
you start playing anything.
Oh yeah, for
Yeah.
sure, for sure. And the beautiful thing in all this is really a connection, and like when I was there, Polar Bear told me I produced a full album for RBX. I produced tracks for Coolio, and the difference between him and me is he was really there during the golden years where the business was there,
Fucking
where
lit. So like during the death row era and that shit.
yeah, he was there on the West Coast and doing his thing on a major level, and he's one of the guy who told me once, yeah, it's a pity, but you came out, or you came up, sorry, you came up a bit too late, but I do it for the passion, and I'm having fun with it. So I'm not the G-Funk master to sum it up. He's the European G-Funk master, starting it all.
See, I don't like that. Why can't both of you be masters?
The G-Funk masters.
Is the OG master. I'm the junior master.
You're the apprentice.
Okay. If you want to give it a title, that's fine.
You're the young Padawan.
Exactly.
So my question before Shakespeare plays the next video: top 3 producers that you look up to.
Okay, that's easier than MCs, because you know what? I didn't finish the first question of Shakespeare. I can't give like so many MCs are super dope that I've worked with. I will forget them. It's not even fair that I mention all of them or that I forget all of them. Producer super easy, like super easy. If I will put 4, so I have to put my homie Polar Bear, because it's from Europe and he was the first one to do it in Europe, and a lot of cats in Europe. Sometimes, producers have an ego and they're bragging and all, but they forget that Polar Bear was the forefather of all of us.
That's fucking lit. The Mount Rushmore.
Yeah. And you know what? Sometimes in Instagram, I see young cats, 25, 30, was like, I'm the best. I'm the, and they're bragging a bit, doing collabs with this guy. And I'm saying, man, there was a cat doing that. And,
yeah, but that's just the lean and the pills that are talking. They don't know what that's.
Exactly. And
Polar Bear.
I'll just say Polar Bear, DJ Quick, Battle Cat, and Daz Dillinger. They are my 4. I was about to say Trinity. Daz Dillinger as well. And funny fact, a lot of people forgot, but in the album of Tupac, All Eyes on Me, DJ Quick did a lot of mixing as well. Not only producing, but mixing. And Daz did lots of beats.
Yeah, you can go like there's a cat who does like the top 10 beats of these producers. Like if you type in some of these producers, and when he does Daz, you're like, hold on, he did that song. Hold on, he did that song. Like there's so many tracks that Daz did that everybody knows, but you have no fucking clue that Daz did the beat.
I'm happy you brought that up, Shakes, because Eminem, people don't know his catalog in producing.
Yeah, facts.
He has produced a lot of people's shit.
But you know what? I will tell you one thing though. For Eminem, there is a lot of things as well going on that people think or hear, but are not really the truth. Like Eminem, people say he produced and all. Eminem, I will tell you what he did, and people will say, Laidback Sounds is mad to talk like this and blah blah blah.
Eminem slander here, sir.
Exactly. Eminem, he used to get the drums from Dre, from the team of Dre, Khalil, and all these cats. But he was doing the drums. Eminem, when he was producing, he had a keyboard player in the house. He had a guitarist. I was about to say guitarist. Sorry for my crazy accent again. A bass player. So you know what? It's easy to make drums on the MPC or whatever. I don't say it's easy, but everybody can play with an MPC or with a drum pad. I don't minimize the work. Eminem is one of the best MCs ever, but production-wise, I don't even put him nowhere, and I'm not being cocky about it. It's not.
He's an asshole. Laidback's an asshole.
Yeah, it's some people doing it full time. You have to give them kudos. Eminem it's just an adventure that he had with a team of seasoned musician doing
So would you
three-quarter of
say
the job for him.
would you say it's kind of along the similar lines of Scott Storch to Dr. Dre?
Yeah.
Not exactly. No. Because
It's
Eminem was
similar?
no,
It's like
it's not.
Scott Storch produced a lot of beats that Dr. Dre took credit for.
Yeah, but it's not exactly the same. Eminem, it was just a little venture
Okay,
for him.
got you.
It's not his life. He's an MC, and he's one of the
So
topest. Big respect. Dr. Dre and
before,
Scott Torch example is not the same because Dr. Dre is more maestro. He did as well lots of beats before, and Scott Storch does as well beats. So they are two producers working with each other and
just collabing together.
and collabing. So and it's the same when Scott Storch was working with Timbo.
Got you.
Even when there was the story of you're the piano man, at the end of the day, Scott Storch has the same talent as Timbaland, and they were just
There's two geniuses.
Well,
Yeah,
I gotta make an
completely.
announcement. I gotta make Laidback said Eminem is trash.
production wise. I'm not saying as an MC. Don't get me wrong.
See, but that's the thing about it. I think that's the reason why M doesn't really promote that he's a producer.
Of course.
He really doesn't talk about it.
And you know what? Maybe it has changed. I'm talking about the
Early
years 2001, 2002, 2003 when he came out as a
Oh, yeah,
producer.
when
Like
he was back then, yeah. If you listen to, when you have a chance, Laidback, listen to Skip This Ad by
Yeah.
Crooked Eye and all of them.
Yeah.
Eminem supposedly produced, I'm saying supposedly because now you just changed my whole perspective of how the shit works.
yeah.
So supposedly Eminem produced the whole entire thing. Mixed
No,
master,
it doesn't. You know what is it? What people have to understand is when someone gets super famous, you have to use the name and the signature.
Yeah,
And
it
that's what
sells
happened to
albums.
Eminem. Eminem, he was just here giving his ideas, doing a few drums, doing maybe a few keys here and there, but he had a team working with him and for him. And it was even, if you remember the Scratch magazine from 2001 and 2002, they were explaining it that he was
Okay.
in the studio, locked up with so many musicians. So tomorrow you have an ear. You're like, okay, you know what? I produced the album of Crooked Eye, and I want a more boom bap kind of sound. Okay, I'll start to do the drums. You will do the bass. I want a bass like that. Doom, 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 doom,
So you're
doom,
producing
doom.
it, but you're not producing it. It's like
Yes, it's like
part
Puff
and
Daddy.
partial.
Yeah,
So
it's like
one more
Puff Daddy.
announcement. Laidback said for the second time that Eminem is trash.
Let's jump into another track while
For
we
sure.
got Homeboy in the house. This right here is Marv,
Yeah,
Second to None, featuring Stefan G, produced by your boy.
Let's go.
let's
Laid
go.
Back Sounds.
Big shout out to Marv. Big up, bro.
I like that logo better.
Oh yes, thanks.
We bringing you that dope vibe from the Pacific. Reppin' Dumagetti City. More. Time to disembody the beat, make you jump at your seat. So go ahead and tell somebody it's the MARV. Getting busy with the homie LB and my entourage, cause tonight I'll be the microphone controller, master of ceremonies, and boot out these bastards and ponies. Street smart and cocky, the style be street art and nasty, the craft be. It's a must, I bust that I keep it straight. It's how me and Laidback build the chemistry above average, second to none. No arrogance, we just get the job done. Hitting home runs like it's all too easy. I'm ruthless, no room for flimsies. Underestimators get smoked like chimneys, and bandwagoners get dropped like a Chevy.
We stay up all day and night, keep trying to do broad daylight. That's how we get the job done, cause we second to none. Sit back, relax while we can, with the homies and friends. This is how we get it done, cause we second
to none.
Still on an island cruising, hangover, drinks all around. How can I stay sober? My head's still ringing, but I gotta pull over. At a mini stop, cause the day ain't over. Grab a red horse wrapped in a paper bag, chugging on booze with my foot on the gas. Got my shades on, eyes hella red, like a bloodshed. 3 hours I slept. We left the hotel with an empty stomach, laid back on the eat before we get another bucket. Another round like Golden Boy and top drink, no hooks and jabs, just filling our tanks. My dosage and liquor tolerance is so high, makes my queen worrisome. When it comes to a bench, we second to none. If my health deteriorates, no regrets, harm done.
We stay up all day and night, keep trying to do broad daylight. That's how we get the job done, cause we second to none. Sit back, relax while we can, with the homies and friends. This is how we get it done, cause we second to none.
Bar to bar, drink from jar to jar. So my shit don't funk from car to car. Unbeknownst to somebody else, so I'ma let it be known. G-Funk Philippines, watch the mic get blown. Bar to bar, drink from jar to jar. So my shit don't funk from car to car. Unbeknownst to somebody else, so I'ma let it be known. G-Funk Philippines, watch the mic get blown.
We stay up all day and night, keep trying to do broad daylight. That's how we get the job done, cause we second to none. Sit back, relax while we can, with the homies and friends. This is how we get it done, cause we second to none. Stay up all day and night, keep trying to do broad daylight. This is how we get the job done, cause we second to none. Sit back, relax while we can, with the homies and friends. This is how we get it done, cause we second to none. Second to none. Second to none.
One time for your mind, back at it. Back on that Asiatic G-Funk, gangster funk, genius funk, grown-up funk, whatever you call it. You know what I'm saying? Laidback Sounds is in the house, man.
Second to none.
That's Marv, Second to None, featuring Steph on G, produced by your boy, Laidback Sounds.
Now I see that you like using flutes a lot.
Oh yeah, I
Dude,
love
that
flutes.
sounds so clean.
And you know what? You know where I got that liking for the flutes? It was in the track from the Chronic album from Dr.
Yep.
Dre, in the track
I know
Ghetto Boy.
exactly the intro flutes.
Yeah. The
Yeah,
Ghetto
the intros.
Boy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love those flutes,
Exactly.
man. So everybody just started kind of going crazy. Red Horse, this, that, the other. To anybody wanting to hit the Philippines, borders are open February 15th worldwide. To anybody
Send
wanting
me
to come
a
and
ticket.
travel to the
Vibe Reactions
Philippines.
needs to go to the Philippines.
Oh
The
yeah.
world's back open again, baby.
Man,
Marv,
you're-
we need to get those. We need to have some of those Red Horses together, homeboy.
What the hell's a red horse?
Beer.
it's a, yeah,
it's like
a big beer.
it's a strong beer.
What's the percentage?
Like
It is. I
like
think it's
7?
it's 9 or 8.5.
9?
yeah, they call it Red Horse, and like
In a beer? Why is it called a red horse? Because you're gonna be fucking everything?
it's gonna
So-
kick you in the fucking teeth.
Yeah. That's what they say. You wake up the day after with a hangover that kicks you in the face, basically.
You don't even. No, you can have like 3, 4, 5 bottles and feel good. As soon as you get home, you're just like, what the fuck is going on?
Exactly.
That's why, like my beer of choice, chilling, is a San Miguel Light. But when
Yeah, same.
when I'm chilling and I'm at the resort, we're staying the night, and I ain't got nothing to do. All right, pop the Red Horses, pop the Red Horses.
You know what? I'm the
Get a
same. I'm
case of Red
I'm a
Horse.
San Miguel Light team though. I like Red Horse, but I prefer the San Miguel.
Well, you know what I drink.
Corona.
Yeah, Corona.
You drink a
So
Corona?
you would prefer the San Miguel Light
Yeah,
for sure.
Definitely.
Same shit, identical. Like there's really
Yeah.
no difference, and you
True.
can just put some calamansi in it, and you're good to go.
Can you put a lime in it?
Yeah, that's the calamansi.
Calamansi
Okay.
is the Filipino lime.
Yeah.
Philippines lime.
Brother, I live in Florida.
Yeah, but you see, your homeboy is almost Filipino now. He's even using the local language to say lemon.
Bro, I got fucking calamansi trees in my backyard, homeboy.
That's true.
Galarossi in the house. What's popping, homeboy?
What is
What's
good?
up?
Mary's in there. Mary, what's good?
We here, we chilling. It's the Shakey Vibe Podcast, episode 15. We got your boy, King of the G-Funk Sound. We got Laid Back Sounds in the house. We are a different type of podcast. What we do on this channel is we do take your questions. So anybody got any questions for Laid Back? Anybody want to troll Laid Back? Because a bunch of his
Oh yeah,
boys
troll
are in
me.
the
No
house.
problem. I'm
Anybody
here.
want to throw some shots? Put
I'm
your
gonna
shit
ask a
in
question while they
the
start
comments.
thinking about their question. I'm gonna ask a question, and this is more of a business question than anything else.
For sure.
I need a new intro and outro.
All right.
How much you charge?
Oh, we can talk after, but I will give you a very low price because you're having me
Facts.
here. You're having me here, so it's like you know what? I'll be honest with you. I don't want to say it in front of everybody, but I will. I don't give a shit. You know, I'm not sugarcoating again. I might give you one for free because you're having me for free here. And believe it or not, but some podcasts will make you pay to be on their podcast.
Really?
So,
all right, so you need to cash that
Everything is-
me and Shakespeare about 150 a piece.
Yeah. You know what? All right then. You know what? I'm rolling with that. I send you a PayPal of 150 each, but you will send me a PayPal of 500 for a bit.
You see,
Then.
now you're going crazy. Now you're just out of this world.
No, I'm joking, but no, glad to be here already. So I can help you out. If you help me out like you did, there is absolutely no problem.
Oh man, it's a fact, man. We family
Well, I got
already. You part of the vibe gang, so it is what it is.
Exactly.
I got another
That's
question
it.
for you. Out of the videos and stuff, the music that you've done in the Philippines, and I don't want to, because again, there's artists that you've worked with in the Philippines and stuff like that in house. But what is one of the projects to you that stands out the most? Whether it's memorable, whether you were even on location or not. But what is one of the projects from the Philippines? Because people that haven't been to the Philippines don't really get it. They don't know how big the hip hop scene is here.
Yeah, that's true.
We've had these conversations many times on like pretty much every topic we're talking here. But what's one of the projects that you worked with
In the
obviously,
Philippines?
and it was just that feel good happy moment that stands out a little bit more than the other? Not the artists, and it's nothing to do with the artist, but
For
the
sure.
project itself as a whole. What project stands out like a lot to you?
Yeah,
More so
well,
than others?
it will be the Marv album because this was the first full album that I have released in the Philippines, that we have released in the Philippines, and it was some crazy logistics because we put some for some nice featurings as well. I have my homie and bro Colarossi, who was featuring from
right
San
now.
Diego as well. So it's a big thing, San Diego to the Philippines.
Yep.
You got many artists on that project, and as well, believe it or not, but I printed professionally. I pressed professionally the CDs in Ireland, and I carried copies in my suitcase.
That's lit, man.
And what we have done when I arrived there, we have printed like 60 T-shirts. So Marv organized the gig to release the album. So while we were releasing the gig, there was artist opening for him. There was as well Shakey with his homie there doing the
Sick P's
backup.
dope too, man. Sick P's
Shakey is super dope lyricist. It's funny because Shakey is rapping on my West Coast beats, but he's more a New York kind of lyricist, and he's more into the New York sound.
Like you had mentioned earlier, exactly.
So that's still that's the way we do, and it was some crazy moment because we have so many artists to open for them. We sold out all the T-shirts, so all the money was recouped
All your
for
merch was
that
gone,
night.
like big time.
Like like it's super dope T-shirts, and after that we chilled in front of a barbecue, and we had some really nice times, and it was their first. It was my first real album, and to have a real copy in his hand is when you see an artist, you arrive, you know, hey, what's up, man? First time we see each other for real, and you give him his album. It's like Marv is
That's
the OG
dope.
there,
That's
and 62,
dope.
but I believe for a minute that I was almost, it didn't happen, but I say, I will almost see him crying, but you know, because he had a face like, what the fuck, you know, and it's a beautiful moment because you're like, I'm doing music for that. It's for sharing.
Bro, in this era, in this time, to actually have pressings, to actually have like because everything is done like social media now. So
Digitally
like,
speaking.
you can just have your album on every major platform and people download it. So to actually have tangible in-hand copies of whatever you're like to press shit now
Yeah.
is few and far between. So to have
And
that moment is a little bit of a like special moment because like fucking nobody presses shit now, man. And if you
yeah,
do, it's just for friends and family only.
that's true. Or you do a 100 or 200 runs for the collectors.
That's
And
it.
the
Right.
good thing is
For your day ones.
for your day ones. But the good thing in G Funk is it's a small niche market now, but there is actually a nice niche of collectors, like for old funk music. So usually we can press a few hundreds and it will be sold. But yeah, it's a beautiful moment when you share that and you see the artist you're working with getting the CDs. It's just like a kid in front of a Christmas tree. And like I'm the same when I got the CDs from the press. I remember back in the 90s and 2000, I was like, wow, that's good. So that
Yeah,
was
but in the
my
90s and 2000s, man, I pressed fucking the labels I was working with. Everything was pressed on vinyl, cassette, see, like
exactly.
everything. You were in like Tower Records, HMV, and that kind of shit. Like that was it. But now you can go downtown to any city, and there's only the old school record stores, the
Yeah,
vintage record shops. So that's what I mean. To have shit printed and pressed now
it's something.
it means something more than it did back then.
It
See,
is.
the only thing I've ever pressed is a ham and cheese sandwich.
Your
Yeah,
shirt,
that's good.
your dress shirt before church.
Yeah, but you know what? Funny you say. Funny you say that because I produced when I arrived in Ireland. One of my best friend, MC from Haiti, is from France, but Haiti and France,
That's dope. Oh,
and I
they
could
speak
I
French
could
there.
he speak French there as well, and I could kick the door open of HMV and Tower Records to have our independent project being sold in HMV and Tower Records in Ireland, and we were the
That's lit.
first foreigners in Ireland to have our CDs sold in those establishments. I even had
That's sick.
to kind of negotiate with the bouncer or the security director there and all because he didn't want that one stage. They didn't want me anymore in the store because I was coming every day. I say, "You'll get my CD. You will get it. You will." No, come on, get out. And one day I could get in, and when the manager was there, and they took the CD, and after that, my friend MC Mighty, RIP, in Zimbabwe, I got the CD there as well. So it's always good. I was always a go getter, and no matter what, I always find a solution. So, you know.
To touch on what Calarossi had mentioned here, like we did touch on how many hours this guy puts in on each project. And then we also touched from an artist aspect, how the artist, depending on the certain track, if you're feeling the vibe on that particular track, like maybe you put in a half an hour of writing time to it, and then a little bit more time of discovering your flow and getting everything primed and ready. It's just literally like peanuts compared to how much time this man right here literally puts into his projects.
Like he's literally making a beat right now.
Yeah, I'm doing a bit right now with my third arm at the back. But
So
yeah,
to answer Mary's question, he is. I'm gonna pull it up here, bro. I'm gonna let you answer it. I'm not gonna speak for you. The man got an accent. She's asking your nationality.
Yeah, my accent is a blend of so many nationalities, but I'm originally French. But having traveled everywhere in the world, my French twang is mixed with Nigeria, kind of pidgin English, with Maltese, and a bit of Filipino as well sometimes, and of course a bit of Irish twang as well.
Well,
So yeah, I have a really.
You better have that Irish twang.
So when he talks,
Irish.
he does doubles and triple entendres. When he talks.
Yeah, and I can do the Indian accent as well if you want, man. So I can
So
do
Ray action for a pack of Newports.
Ray sent me a text here, Laidback, and he wanted me to ask you, how was it working with Bruce Willis in the Die Hard movies?
Oh yeah, how comes?
I did not text you that. You
lie. You liar.
You talked about it and you said you asked him.
So tell me, it's actually me to ask you the question. Tell me more about that question.
No, we were just kidding, and like I didn't even know that the camera was on, so I was playing one of the messages that you had sent me previously,
Yeah.
and he's like something along like I'm like, yeah, this is the dude. He's from France, lives in Ireland. He's like, wow, and then he's like, he sounds just like the dude from Die Hard. He's like, ask him how it was working with Bruce Willis in Die Hard. Just joke, obviously joking around, right?
I know. Don't worry, I'm the first joker here, so don't worry at all. You can. You're
Why
crazy.
you put me in a spot like that, Shakes? You an asshole, man.
You did me like that. But you know what? Actually, Ray, on the funny side, you look a bit like Glasses Malone, the MC from the West Coast.
Who?
When I saw you, when I entered the meeting, I say he looks a bit like Glasses Malone. Glasses Malone is a famous MCs in the drop your Bisaya word. Oh, what I could say. I don't
Bro,
know.
they're saying you're like
I wish I
7
could rap
feet
like him,
tall
man.
and you can slam dunk. You can slam dunk, so white boys can jump. You can slam dunk
Me?
or before.
Oh yes, I could. From the age of 16.
How tall are you?
I'm 6.1.
6'1" and can jam, so that's
Oh yeah,
that's
I could.
lit.
Yeah,
I'm
but you
so
know what?
jealous.
It's all about work. I spent a full summer, with weight on the legs, and my goal was like in 3 months I will be able to dunk, and I did that for 6 months actually. And after I could dunk every way, reverse way, I could do every kind of move and everything. 16 years old, but you know what?
Jeez.
It's just work. It's like everything. It's
Question,
work.
question. Can you do it now?
No, I can't even touch the ring anymore. I'm just rusty, old rusty man. Yeah, drop some word in what in Bisaya. Tulognaka, Kapoiko, Tulognaka. I know just a little words. What else I could say? I don't know. I'm just tripping.
They're saying you're lying about how high you are, how tall you are.
He's way taller. Polar Bear says that because when he met me, I was thinner. So when you're a bit thin and underweight, you look taller. But I'm 6.1. Right now, I gained a lot of weight during COVID. So
We all did.
yeah,
We all did.
Fucking COVID, man.
I might look like I might look like 5.4
I'm
now.
6'1" horizontal.
6'2" horizontal. All right.
But my height, that's crazy because I'm 6'1" too. How tall are you, Shakes?
Like 5'11", 6 feet, like same as you guys, like pretty much same shit.
More or less, yeah.
But
More or
like
less the same.
we're very tall walking around the Philippines.
You saw what Barry said? She said towering height if you're around Benoist.
It's true.
Yeah.
Like for the
You
most
know-
part. For the most part.
In a mall back in the day when I was going to malls and in Philippines, I was so fed up of the gentle people telling me, "Are you a basketball player? Are you a basketball player? Are you a basketball player?" And I was like, "No, man, I'm not. I'm a ping pong player. But the ping pong table in France are very high. That's why we are so tall." Relax.
Do you have plans on coming back to the Philippines in the next little bit?
As soon as we can. Definitely this year, hopefully. We'll see.
So I think when you're back, me and Marv should get working on a project together and take advantage of that shit.
For sure. And Sick as well. Sick is in the building as well.
Brap, brap.
Everybody in the building.
Which one's 6P? Is 6P butts?
6P is Boots. Yeah.
Ah, okay.
Boots Cagnette.
I had a feeling. I wasn't like I honestly did have a feeling, but I wasn't sure.
Yeah, he's
That's
Boots
great.
Cagnette there. So yeah, for sure, with pleasure. We can organize some stuff. It's always a pleasure to be on holidays and share music and do projects for sure. And like I was saying as well to my homie Colarossi, one day he has to bring his ass there in the Philippines as well. He's you know what? A lot of people that I work with are super dope but underrated MCs. And Colarossi is one of them. He has worked with everybody on the West Coast.
Bro, I took a look at Calarossi's shit that you sent me before, and then I looked at his mixtape that he released like years and years ago, and I was just like, the collabs that were on that fucking album mixtape were just fucking
Cali Connect.
retarded. No cap. They were just like, I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah, for sure. He's one of the, the way we call him with one of my best friend. We call him the Paul Wall of California. because he has worked with everybody there. It's actually
Literally.
funny. He did a project in Texas with guys like Slim Sug and guys like that as well. So yeah, Lil KK I think as well, and so he's a real hustler, and he's traveling as well so much as well. And sometimes I won't say anything, but he's traveling a lot for the best and the worst. He knows what I'm talking about.
Now,
But
as a producer, do you find it difficult to manage your time wisely? Because I know there's some people, they have their releases and all this other stuff, and you kind of got a time frame towards when they're going to release their shit. Have there ever been like that last minute that you had to do your last minute touches and you had to go and do some shit as quick as possible?
yeah, it happened, but no, I'm taking my time because first of all, my health is not the best, to be honest with you. So I don't have the luxury anymore to produce every day, sometimes not even every week. So it's just like when I feel good, I do the music. If I don't, I don't. I have goals. I still have projects to finish and everything, but I don't have that pressure anymore because I've been through that. I've tried to be successful. I've tried many things. I'm still doing it. I'm still doing it for the passion, but I'm just working on my. Yeah, of course, Rossi's getting his flowers boots. That's for sure. Everybody's getting the flowers. We all a nice community here, but it's it's all about time management. You're right, but you're a bit more relaxed when you grow up and you're like, you know what, I'm 43. I won't work like if I'm 25 or 30 years old, and you have the normal life on the side as well that sometimes catches up with you. You know yourself.
Oh fuck!
It's
Right. Ugh. I
yeah.
took so much time out of the game. I think I took like close to 10 years off just because life was
Wow.
fucking just playing me or throwing me around like a fucking and then you get your shit back, and it's like if you're in the music industry, the people in the industry know, like, no matter what you do, no matter what life throws your way, when you're an artist or a producer and you're in the industry, you never walking away from it. It's always going to be a part of you. It's in you, and it's just like when shit settles down, you're gonna get right back into it.
That's it. Actually, excuse me. I see as well. There is my homie. Oh boy, Dilla is actually known as Fetty Francois. He's a French producer, and he has produced as well so many guys on the West Coast. He's more into the new kind of new West type of beat. He's
Right.
dope producer. If one day you want a beat as well, this guy is serious. Yeah, it's so funny to see all the homies.
That's dope. But like, oh boy's been in the house since
He was
like
the first one.
Since the
he
beginning,
was
I
the
think.
first
Yeah,
one in the podcast. Like, so dude's been here for a minute, and we
Exactly.
appreciate that for real, for real.
Shout out to
Exactly.
everybody that came through, man.
Yeah. Mac 10 and G Malone have a collab album. Yeah. Actually, you know what? It may be not G Malone. Oh boy, maybe it was Ray that did an album with Mac 10.
Fetty Francois.
Fetty Francois, a dope producer as well. You know what? It's great to have producers on the call as well, because a lot of times producers are in competition, and I've seen that. I've seen people hooking up with you to know if they are better or worse than you. But the people on the call right now, they are not competitors. We're just friends. We give ourselves tips of production. We're just friends. We don't care who is the best, who is not. It's all love, and it's a family. It's sometimes I'm sending tracks to Polar Bear because he has so much experience that I want, and I say, tell me if it's trash. I'm not sure. I've mixed that track
It's
for
the same
20
with
years.
artists too, though.
Yeah,
Same
for 20
shit. Just
same shit, exactly. You mix the track for 20 hours, you have no more ears. I send the track to Polar Bear, and he's like, maybe there's a bit of bass lacking, and I'm like, okay, all right. And it's just an exchange. When you have a base like that of friends that you can talk to and being totally transparent, I think it's the way that you progress, and that's why I love the people on the call right now. And it's nice to get reliable people that you can trust, basically.
facts.
I know it's a bit cheesy to say, but again, give the flowers when they are due.
Oh, we
But-
all cheesy on this motherfucker, so don't
You
even
know,
worry about that.
Oh, you know what? It is what it is. But yeah, we will see. I can't wait to see you, Shakespeare, in the Philippines. And
Yeah, for sure. We've been talking about
yeah,
this shit, and then the
for sure.
pandemic, and it just kept on extending and extending.
Yeah.
I gotta ask you. You've worked with so many people. You've connected with so many people. Who are some people that you'd want to connect with? And it doesn't even have to be like the top tier mainstreams. It doesn't have to be like the heavy hitters. But like, who are some cats that? Because you're a West Coast cat, so clearly, like, I know there's a couple East Coast cats that you're gonna name, but like, if you could pick and choose a few artists that you could work with that you haven't, who would some of those cats be?
Good, very good question. For now, I hope it won't happen soon, but I could die in peace because I've worked with the people I've worked that I wanted to work. You can't work with everybody on your list, on your bucket list. It's impossible.
Facts.
So there is no regret. It's all gravy, all bonus. But if I would choose one right now, I would love to be 2 days in the studio with DJ Quick just to learn so many tips and
That'd be sick.
it will be I will like you guys, I'm talking a lot, but I think for the 2 days it will be the first time in my life I will completely shut down and shut up. I will just be like,
Up and
okay,
just listen.
just listen and get the game from an OG and from a guy who can produce, play instrument, rap, mix, master albums. That guy has all in one and is one of the top guy as well for me, production wise. So that will be that guy. But you know what? No matter the name, I'm glad today to produce guys like Colarossi, to produce guys like Marv, like Sick P again, because when you feel comfortable, like you as well, when you feel comfortable doing a project, there is no stress. And I think
Right.
we have many other stress in our life out of music. You just want to do music to enjoy. And I'm glad to work independently at 43 with people who enjoy the same type of music as myself. And for me, that's all what matters. Sometimes, I have some friends who ping me and say, I've seen the Instagram post of that guy. They want beats. You should submit beats. I say, I've done that, man, so many times. I'm not producing for that reason now. I just want to produce my homies, release nice projects, and I'm happy. It's just the way I'm reasoning right now.
But the cool thing about that is you know so many people and connect with so many people, but the people you're connecting with are also connected with people, and that's how other doors open up, and that's how you're able to work and produce with some other artists that are equally as dope, sometimes a lot better. And it's just like
so it's a good example. Sometimes you can, from your friends collab and everything, you can kind of have an open door to other spheres or other kind of world of hip-hop. It's interesting, but you don't have the same relationship to work with them guys. It happens to me many times. It was really a good experience, but you're not as open, and sometimes there is a bit of a distance. Nobody wants really to share the feeling about the track, or it's just professional working. And it's something I used to enjoy, but right now I'm not really too much about that. It's good if we work professionally and have a professional relationship, but it's the problem when you start a professional relationship and in music is I don't have the time to do like 10 or 15 revisions anymore.
Right.
Like I'm not at a stage of my life. If I do 10 or 15 revisions, it's because I want to do the revision. Or because some of my homies say, well, Laidback, I know you can fix that straight away. I didn't like the bass there. Can you? No problem. I will do the revision. But I don't want to spend like 50 hours on a song doing.
You already do.
I already do. That's the truth as well. Johnny Colarossi. So Colarossi has a question. How do you guys feel about BODR and that Snoop now owns Death Row? So I let you guys.
So BODR is the new Snoop album, and Snoop now owns Death Row Records. I think this is a question for all of us.
Yes.
Ray, have you heard the album?
Not yet, no.
We're gonna fucking sour your mind of wanting to fucking listen to that fucking album.
Come on, go Shakespeare, go first.
I'm gonna throw this to you because me and Laidback had this conversation already. But what do you feel, Ray, about Snoop purchasing Death Row?
Snoop needs to retire.
He's
I think it was more publicity. I think it was more like, if you listen to these guys fucking even talk about it, it was
He
like
liked
boot
it.
camp. They fucking hated it. They hated that shit. So the fact that he purchased it is like him just like it's him. It's for a little bit of clout, in my personal opinion. He purchased it, so people are like, "Oh, that," but like,
Yeah, it's
this guy's
a nice Cinderella story.
this guy's glorifying BS. A time in his life that
It's a
they made money, but
my
they
thing
hated.
is, when somebody tells me they're gonna go buy a record label and it's theirs now, my thing is, okay, cool. What are you to do with it?
Yeah.
That's my next question. What are you gonna do with that record label? Because Death Row has been dancing for how long?
You're gonna do what 50 Cent did when he purchased what's that fucking record label that Ja Rule used to be under? The
Inc.
Gotti.
Murder Inc.
He purchased it, but he didn't do anything. He didn't try and do anything with the name, like
because 50 Cent is petty. He bought it probably so Ja Rule would have nothing else to do.
He did.
He Ja Rule's masters.
He did.
He just shelved them.
Did you hear what 50 Cent did to Ja Rule? He did a concert. He bought the first 5 rows.
Yes.
Just to
Crazy.
be empty.
Yeah, crazy move, but yeah,
So-
it's just petty. That's it.
Me
Yeah.
and Laidback had a conversation in regards to the new Snoop album.
Yeah.
And he told me what he thought about it. I went back and listened to I went and then listened to the album. Not went back and listened. And everything he said was fact. The song, the album had 2, maybe 3 songs that I want to fuck with and I want to listen to that I've enjoyed. The rest of it was just trash.
How many
And
tracks?
my next comment
18. It's an 18-track album.
My next message
there
to
was only 3 that you fucked with.
I mean, there is 4.
maybe, and like my message to Laidback instantly was, dude, Snoop hasn't dropped a dope album since his second album. And if I were him, I would just stick to a single deal and just pump out singles. Because when he puts time and effort into his singles, they're fire. He works with
that's
dope
true.
producers.
That's true.
But there's so many tracks off this album. There's never going to be a Doggy Style again, where you just want to listen to every track on that album.
not at
And
all.
it's just like,
Yeah.
it just ruined it. Like if he was to have done something really nostalgic, like, and just redone a very similar Doggy Style album, it could have been so epic and what the game needs for the West Coast sound. For the my
Yeah.
opinion, I thought it
problem with
sucked.
that-
I didn't.
The problem with
the
that
album
is
sucked.
I feel the problem with that is that you can't teach your old dog new tricks. He's used to one way of doing things. He's gonna do it the way he did it. He's not gonna blend into the new style of music that's coming out right now. So that's probably why he was just like, well, I'm just gonna do what I want.
But it's, you know, right? It's interesting, but it's almost what you're saying. But there is a little stuff that I need to add with that. The thing is that since the last few albums of Snoop, the problem is that is neither vintage, neither new. He's in between. So it's very hard to please the old cats like us, but it's very hard to please the new cats because your sound is an hybrid between old and new.
Right.
Sometimes, I don't have any lessons to give to those legends, but sometimes I know that Snoop, for example, did, remember when he did the 7 Days of Funk with Damn Funk? It was a funky project. Very interesting little EP, not little, but very interesting EP. And he actually pleased the funk fans and people who were into that sound. I always wondered why he never came back to a full G-Funk, old-sounding album.
I don't get it because the music industry and the entertainment industry itself it repeats itself every 30 years. So right now we're right in the heart of the beginning of the G-Funk era. So what he dropped, he could have used every sample he had on Doggy Style and redone them all over again. So
Or
it's
do new stuff. You know what? When you have Battle Cat under you, when you have guys that you can reach out like DJ Quick and Daz, his cousin, I will be very honest with you. So to answer the question of Colarossi, there was 2 feelings. The first feeling when he bought back Death Row, I think is a very clever move.
if you
marketing
do the right
wise,
moves with it, yes, for sure.
it's really a smooth
sure.
move, and he's very clever to have done that. And I know what you're saying with all they were hating Death Row at one stage. I know it's true, But no matter what, it's a very good move. Exactly what you're saying because of nostalgia and everything. Perfect. Now for the album, like Shakespeare said, there's 4 tracks I like. They are produced by Battle Cat. There is one very interesting track featuring Nas, and it has a very grimy sound, a bit like Griselda. So it's a very and Snoop. Honestly, that's one thing that I respect on this album. Snoop raps extremely well,
Right.
and he brings different topics and so it's really clever. But on the beats, I don't like the beats, and I don't like the mix. I think the album was really rushed mix wise. For a name like Snoop, it should be better than that. And I think that when you bring a name like back on Death Row, people expect the Death Row sound.
Dude,
And
you got cats from this generation walking around with Death Row T-shirts before he even did that. So like,
That is a fact.
why Daz wasn't producing tracks on this? Like,
Yeah.
why?
It was supposed to be Snoop Dogg's new album. Since Snoop Dogg, like what you said, Snoop Dogg is more of a laid back type of rapper. He needed to get laid back on the producing.
Oh, that would have been a thing, but yeah, that's true. but that's a clever move, Ray. But
I do my thing. I'm a sales guy, brother. I can sell water to a well. I'm good.
that's a clever transition. No, but like actually, Paul Abrea just said it earlier. If it's really back on Death Row, then put RBX, put Daz, put Warren G.
That's Lady of Rage. Like,
Lady
where are
of
all these
Rage?
fucking cats? Like, I don't get it. Like, and on top of that, like, I just think he dropped the ball so hard on this. Like,
Yeah, I think
oh
so.
man,
For me,
I
it's the disappointing project anyway.
and like the Doggy Style and the Chronic were in an era where it's like smoke weed and drink. Well, since that time, how many dispensaries are all over Cali? You could have like that whole smoke good, feel good vibes and relive them and reduplicate it all over again and spawn a brand new generation and keep the Cali sound alive.
You know, but you understand why though? Because it stopped for a long time. It wasn't relevant.
For sure it did. But like, get Kendrick, get the new cats in Cali, get the new generation mixing with the old generation, and you're just gonna spawn a whole bunch of more kids, and you're gonna have a whole nother generation of spitters.
Exactly. And you know what?
Go and buy one of Nipsey Hussle's fucking masters and put Nipsey Hussle on a track. Like, you want to pay homage? Like, buy one of his masters. I guarantee. Buy one of Pac's masters. They both have masters on tracks unreleased. Get these fuckers on your album.
This is just me as a consumer of hip hop and rap, and this is just me thinking. What would have been dope if he would have gotten, let's say, one of Nipsey's albums and remix the beat, or not even buy the sample, do whatever you got to do, and just rap off of that as a homage, but as my first album coming out. That would have gotten everybody, because that shit's still fresh in everybody's heart. What happened?
Calarossi, you see what you did to the chat? You got us all wild and fired up now. You see what your question did, man?
Where's Snoop on that, man? Call that man.
Call that man.
We got to talk to him.
Yeah, but you know what? You got some points, but apparently, from what I've seen, he has just signed as well new cats. They are not new, but they are from the new West Coast school. And there is one guy a bit looking like him and a bit with the laid back, old attitude he got when in the 90s, called Doggy Style, who actually based his name on and he's pretty dope. And actually, I think he's bringing up as well the son of Nate Dogg. From what I've heard,
I saw something on that. I think I saw pictures on that, like in my social media a couple days ago.
Exactly. And he has a bit of the voice of his father in a different way. He's in between rap and singing. So I think his project is to put new cats as well on it. But again,
at the end of the day, he is a smart businessman.
In my heart, what he needs to do, he needs to go to the battle rap arena and get these guys from Cali that are just fucking shit up in battle rap.
Why didn't he put Daylight on his album?
Dude, if he puts Daylight on his album, you know what? How crazy that would be? Daylight, Geechee Gotti, Rum Nitty, all these guys from Cali that are just lyricists. I'm talking about, you need to sit there and listen to their shit 5 times to understand everything they said.
Yeah, because I totally get you.
That's what he needs to get.
So let's see. But you know what? I've seen some comments on Instagram because there were a few what you call that old heads like us complaining on I think it was Battle Cat Instagram saying yeah maybe the album, and apparently Battle Cat replied yeah it's only the first, many projects are coming with featuring Daz, Warren G, and all these guys. So we'll
Okay.
see.
Okay.
Maybe you know what? Maybe uh, the timing was just a pure hazard. He had already tracks piled up from different years.
Maybe he just kind of rushed it and released it because he knew that like the purchase of Death Row would make its
Exactly.
rounds across social media. So he just wanted to use the media hype surrounding. Like
That's-
I get it,
I think
but
that's it.
like I get it, but why not take your best tracks and do like a 5-6 track EP?
Because
and
he's
not-
too damn busy putting
That's
his face on pictures and posting it on Instagram.
as well. But you know what? Both of your points are very interesting, and Shakespeare, you're very right. Sometimes it's better to do a 5-track EP with that death row sound, with even a production of Dr. Dre, a production of Quick, a production. Teddy Riley is a dope producer. Is from the South, but he's
Teddy
producing
Riley's the
many-
shit.
Teddy Riley is
Riley's
fire.
lit,
one of my
man.
favorite as well. Scott Storch, and you put all them guys producing one track each, you got a solid 5
Oh
EP.
yeah, definitely.
And each track you put one track with featuring Corrupt, one track featuring Daz, one track you know what? You don't need a full album
Or
actually.
you just do one track, do a cipher track, and have like all of the old school Death Row mates on it, and call it
Boom.
like Death Row Returns, and like there you go.
Death Row original inmates or whatever, yeah, or Death Row
Yeah,
returns,
something
yeah,
like that.
exactly. That's brilliant. That's some good
And in the
ideas.
music video, you can replicate what you did in the Source Awards 1, where everybody was locked in like
That was
their
dope.
own cell block, and each member came out. Like you could recreate that and have the old cats like us relive it, and the young cats that don't know that didn't even existed. You could just be like, oh, like
That
you know
was-
what I mean?
yeah.
So I don't know.
You
There's
guys
just
in the chat need to go and contact Snoop and tell him to get on the podcast with us right now, because we got a lot of good ideas here. The only advice I get Snoop is don't pick up Suge's phone calls. Leave that alone.
Yeah, it was RBX, Rage, Daz, and Corrupt. Yeah, exactly. They were the original inmates in '92.
Sam Snead, I think was
Yeah,
had a cell.
Sam Snead.
I
And
think
again,
Sam Snead had a cell.
yeah, you
And
better recognize.
And who was it? Snoop that was in the chair, in the electric chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. And you even have a DJ Quick in that
Yeah,
that
he
show.
was. Yeah, he was
was
in
dollars
in
and
a cell
cents.
as well.
If
Yeah,
you don't make dollars, you don't make sense. You know that track.
Quick's too lit.
See, I'm from up north. I'm from New York, so my ears are like used to hearing the New York sound of things.
Styles P and yeah.
Styles P, Nas, Jay, Biggie, all that.
AZ, yeah.
I'm not even lying to you. The first song that I heard from the West Coast was Tupac's "Dear Mama."
Yeah. Because many could relate exactly everywhere in the States. Yeah.
But like I was telling you earlier, the beat, I was hearing it, and then I got more into that, and then I got to a Doggy Style with Snoop, and I was like, for some reason, this fucking West Coast sound is like it catches you.
Yeah. It's the funk. Yeah. It's the groove.
Like I think I was the only motherfucker in New York that was bumping fucking what's his name, Nate Dogg and Snoop on that one track, and everybody in New York, they shut that shit the fuck off. What are you doing? But I don't know. It's just like I told you before, laid back. I pay attention. I think sometimes my wife tells me too much on the production side of it, just because I like the sound. Like the sound to me makes the fucking track. So if I'm not fucking with the sound, I ain't fucking with the song. I don't care what the rapper's saying.
I'm a bit like that sometimes.
Feel everything off of that song. So if the rapper is spitting dope and the fucking producer is slacking, I'm not fucking with it. And it's the same thing vice versa.
I'm the same.
When I heard that West Coast sound, I was just like, yo, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah, it's you know what it is? I think it's because it has a certain groove. Because they were using so many musicians back in the 90s, not only sample, they were mixing samples with live musicians. And when you have a live bass guy, like for example, Dre used a lot Mike Elizondo, or you have dope guitarist, and you're doing real music, not only not only rap tracks, you're doing real music, and that's what I think G-Funk brought to the table, is having a different type of groove. And on that matter, I would like actually to say, the dope producer for New York, Jay Dilla, and rest in peace, super legend. And
Yeah, rest in peace, Dilla.
the one thing I want to bring up as a topic, I know it will be a bit strange, but as a foreigner and having left hip hop in a different way, I always felt worldwide that when the hip hop purists, they always talk only about New York hip hop. For them, real hip hop is New York hip hop, the real hip hop purist of the 90s. But they forget a lot about some of the West Coast cats. Like they always bring up Jay Dilla and that delayed groove. The delayed groove, like, that kind of stuff. But Battle Cat was doing it even before Jay Dilla, or at least at the same time. And nobody, when you have a
So
pure
was DJ
hip-hop
Screw.
as well, and when you're having a real pure, I mean, in France where I grew up, they were Jay Dilla, New York hip hop, in my city particularly, and even in Paris. And I always tell my homies, and in the Philippines, it's like that as well. They are all about boom bap and New York hip hop.
But the Philippines dress like cholo. They dress like
Mexicans.
Spanish gangsters.
Yeah. And they listen to boom bap, and sometimes when I'm there, I'm like, guys, you dress like on the West Coast, but you and
Dickies
it's so sunny.
and their plaid shirts.
But you tell them,
Like that one time, and I had to turn right the fuck back around and change that shit up. I had to put Jordans, and I had to go put a fucking jersey on with a fitted cap. Because if I feel like fucked up in the corner.
Oh yeah.
Certain places you go in the Philippines, I swear to God, you feel like you're walking around blood in, blood out. Like you're in the barrio.
Yeah, you're in the barrio, definitely. You're in Tijuana, or you're in the deep Mexico. It's really funny. But you know what? You ask them, do you know MC8? Do you know? But man, who is MC8? And I'm like, come on, you have seen at least the movie Mona Society, and I'm like, man, you dress like a Chicanos or like a West Coast dude, and you don't know MC8. And there are some even famous cats. I won't mention the name in the Philippines, but when they ask my CV, I say, thanks to Colarosy, I've done 2 collabs with LV and blah, blah, blah for Colarosy's track. Who is LV? And I'm like, oh yeah, Colarosy. Damn, I've been locked up in Tijuana. Yeah, I remember the story.
That's crazy because anything goes in Tijuana. So how you get locked up in Tijuana? Whew.
But you know what? Colarosy has a thing. He loves to visit places, but he loves as well to test jails around the world. He has done a lot of them.
Don't test that out here in the Philippines.
Yeah, don't. That's what I told him.
Don't do it.
That's exactly Shakespeare. That's what I told him. I say, if you come visit us one day, I say, don't do the famous jail tour like he's doing elsewhere. I said, no, don't. This is the worst place on earth for that.
A very long time.
Yeah, definitely, most definitely.
But to go back to what we were talking about, I'm so fortunate to be born and raised in Toronto, because in Toronto, we were on the East Coast of North America, but the sound that was coming through it was on the radios. Because back in the day, nobody said, oh, I don't listen to the radio. I don't fuck with the radio. You didn't say that, because the radio, like back in the day, you had Wu-Tang on the radio. You had the Chronic. You had Doggy Style. So like back in the day, we grew up in the heat of the golden era, the heart of the golden era, the come up of everybody, like with Exhibit dropping Foundation and stuff like that. In Toronto, you had the best of everything. And I just feel certain spots in New York, you probably only had East Coast because of the East Coast, West Coast beef was kicking up there. If you were in Cali, same thing. That was like NWA, Eazy-E was just leaving Death Row, opening, doing his Ruthless thing. So I think you probably didn't have a lot of the West Coast. Snoop was knocking down buildings in his videos. So being fortunate enough to be growing up in an area that got everything, I think when it comes to writing, it's easier to write to whatever beat you throw me, because we had the best of everything on the radio. And it wasn't like, don't play this, only play this. Because
see, and that's the issue with New York, because New York, back when I was growing in the 90s around there, it was anything you put on the radio. It didn't matter what station it was New York rap. That's what you were hearing. That's what you were listening. I started to hear different type of shit when MTV and BET started popping off, and Big Tig of the Basement and all that shit.
Well, he had everybody in it though, from every genre of music.
Yeah.
He had every sound in the basement. That was
so
lit.
that's what brought me into the sound of it, and I was just like, okay. So there's something more than just New York shit.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. My 5 favorite rappers, 4 of them are from New York. So
I hope Rakim is on it. He's on the list. Rakim
is on a different list. My 5 rappers is Eminem, Nas, Biggie, Jay, and Method Man. Those are my 5 top because it's just lyricists. Rakim is more in my older school top 5 with KRS-One, LL Cool J. What's this guy's name? Fucking Black Thought. People like that. Those are the ones that I got on that genre of my top 5.
Yeah, but the ones that the OGs
that's all I was brought up around.
The OGs you just named are like part of like Mount Rushmore of hip hop. So it's
but those are the people that back in these days, that's what you were hearing. That's what was coming out. So you resonated more with them. When I found out about that West Coast shit, it opened my ears. I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? Like, this guy is rapping, but it's like he's sleeping but rapping, and then the beat is like mellow, but it's like bumping. And I'm just like, yo, this is different. Because in New York, you got that gritty boom, boom, boom. And you got all that. In the West Coast, it's more chilled, relaxed. And I'm just like, but this motherfucker's eating this beat, though.
Yeah.
It was crazy when I ate it. It was nuts. I love it.
Yeah, but I that's very interesting, and I can hear what you're saying as well, Shakespeare, because it was a bit like that in France. Even though my city was boom bap, the radios were playing everything, and
great.
You're absolutely right. Where back in the day, nobody, even if you don't like the presenter of that particular radio, nobody was like, "Fuck this radio, fuck that dude," because they were passing everything. So it was not your interest to not fuck with the radio. And the funny part as well is the commercial hip hop that was playing back in the 90s was actually good. Not only decent, but it was dope. Exactly. And it was catchy as well. It's like, it was another time. And sometimes people talk about nostalgia, but they forget that it's not about nostalgia. It was genuinely good or dope. And that's why we still like it. It's not because sometimes in the old school heads, you have people who are a bit too much progressist. It's not good necessarily to be stuck in the past, but you have people who took the contrary or opposite approach. They want to follow every trend. They want to be progressist. And I think it's good to be in the middle. You can't be narrow-minded and say that, you know what, I don't listen to any new stuff. But you can't be as well when you're 40, 42, 45. You can't be like, you know what, I'm listening only to trendy stuff. And I think sometimes when you're mentioning, I'm really in love with the 90s stuff, I have a few friends like that, and they will be like, oh, you're stuck in the past. I'm not listening to 90 hip hop because it reminds me the first girl I was with in the club or the first. It's not really nostalgia for nostalgia. It is just because the vibe, even R&B. Listen
That's
to
what I'm. Thank you. Like you had the Totals, you had like the R&B and the R&B hip hop collabs. You're not matching that. Like you're not doing that. Like you had the Jagged Edge, like the Teddy Riley group, like No Diggity, like the R&B was lit.
And look, Monica and Brandy. Remember when there was that remix, the New York remix of the track of Brandy? There was a Queen Latifah and MC Light in the
Yeah.
Do you hear the beat, how it bangs for R&B? It's like Ray you say with the G-Funk, it was the same in R&B. It was chill, but in the club, we were not crazy in the club. We were just like, and you can feel the aircon, and you feel it's summertime even during the winter. It's just crazy. I mean, it was a different time.
That's why I always tell people that the 90s to the early 2000s, that's when hip hop was hip hop. That's when the shit was so fire. Like we invented the word nostalgia because they didn't know what the fuck nostalgia was unless the 90s hip hop happened.
That's so true.
But when you go back and think about it, like just think about every genre of mainstream music. You think about rock. At the same time, you had the grunge era. So you had Nirvana, you had Pearl Jam, you had Soundgarden coming up at the same time, along with like Stone Temple Pilots. But then you look at reggae, you had Buju Banton, Beanie Man, you had Sprague Benz. So like those are three genres that we just went through right now, where I think about it, okay, nothing is topping the rock like 60s and 70s.
No.
But the grunge era gives it a little bit of a run for their money.
Yeah.
The Green Days and stuff like so. It's like you listen to the era that we came up with and all of the artists surrounding those genres. Man, talk about fucking nostalgia. Talk about nostalgia. Like,
you know what band gives me goosebumps?
There was no bad music coming out during our time.
Yeah, that's true.
The band that still gives me goosebumps to this day is Linkin Park. Because they were the ones that came out that they mixed. Like I was listening to Linkin Park the other day, and I'm listening to it, and I was like, "Yo, they're fucking rapping on this shit. Like this is not I'm gonna put shit that rhymes together and everything's cool. It's just like you got that rock, you got that rap, and it's like a hybrid of just fuck.
Yeah.
They can't do that right now. They're not gonna make music right now. I feel that's gonna make me feel that way again."
Yeah, and you know what? Funny enough, you mentioned that our national or international polar bear on the call, he got a Grammy with a track he produced for Korn, and it's not even pure hip hop. So he did that kind of music, rock Korn. So what was the question of
So Cala Rossi's got a question. He's like, "What's your favorite album of all time, regardless of the genre?"
Good question.
That will be your next album produced by Fetty Francois.
Facts.
Facts. So, what? It's very. Oh, you know what? Okay, I will give you one, and because I don't want to play like the game of there are too many. I can't name. I'll go to the. For me, what changed everything was Safe Plus Sounds of DJ Quick in '95.
Really?
But you know what? Lit. Yeah, that's my favorite album. The second favorite album I have is Dog Pound, Dog Food. The third album will say Warren G Regulate. The fourth, The Twins, Conversation. After that, I love the Bone Thugs and Harmony, Creeping on a Come Up. The one before, Creeping on a Come Up.
Is that with Thuggish Ruggish Bone?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I have so many after. I like another second album of DJ Quick, Rhythmalism. We have someone coming, and no, I have so many albums that I would classify in the West Coast classics, and not only West Coast actually. There are many albums in New York that I was bumping back then as well, because I believe it or not, I love boom bap. I absolutely love boom bap and New York rap. It's just my passion and love is G-Funk, but I never kind of. But yeah, that's it. That's the thing. Serge Gainsbourg, yeah, it's a French artist. No, funny enough, I've never really been a big fan of French hip hop, even though there are so many dope guys. Yeah. So yeah, that's to answer your question. But first favorite album, yeah, DJ Quick, Safe Plus Sound, definitely.
So you kind of answered one of my questions. Because my next question was, would you rather, if you had a choice, which I mean you do have a choice, produce and mix and match G-Funk album or a boom bap album?
It's a good question, and you know what? It will be G-Funk, because I think at one stage of your life, when you're a bit more grown up, you need to stick to what you do better. I will not give as good results mixing wise in boom bap. Not that I don't like it, but I will not be at ease compared to G-Funk. I don't have all the, and I will be very honest, even if I've listened plenty of boom bap, I'm not that qualified. I don't have all the codes of boom bap. I don't have, but I have all the codes of the G-Funk, and it's easier and more intuitive for me, and I don't need to put as much effort. Boom bap, I will still need to do a lot of discovery about different techniques of parallel.
Boom bap's more about sampling and stuff like that. Anyway,
Yeah.
So it's like,
and it's a tough place to be if you if you're a boom bap producer nowadays, because back in the day, the labels were clearing your sample not easily, but more easier actually. Right now,
Spending more money.
yeah, and it could bring you to it could bring us to a different topic, which is why back in the day the music was so qualitative. Uh, when you were good artists, labels were ready to spend, but with the models of everybody um, doing beats with no sample and doing beats and full albums in their home studio, now major labels say, you know what, it's a win-win for us. We don't need to clear sample anymore. We don't need to pay uh, 15 musicians if you do a G-Funk album, because now people don't do G-Funk, they do trap. So it's just a laptop and Fruity Loops. So it kind of gave a bit that kind of fast food value of modern music. Like, yes, it doesn't sound as good, but label don't care because they make much profit. And people still listen to it at the end of the day.
And the music videos no longer cost hundreds of thousands of dollars. They now cost thousands and at sometimes tens of thousands at most.
At most, exactly.
Where like back in the 90s when my brother has a multimedia company and he like we were working on Hype William projects that were like 2, 3, 4, 500,000. Busta Rhymes projects, Janet Jackson, to now like the budgets are depending on how much the grants you're getting for them. So now they're like 10, 15, 20, 30,000. But the cameras are better, and like the boom arms and stuff like that are a lot better. So like the quality is just the same, but the budget is far less. Where before the budget needed to be high because the equipment was so expensive and harder to come by and harder to get.
Of course, it's a very good point, yeah. And
So, Laidback, I got another one for you because we've had a couple of people on this podcast that their main focus is rapping, but they also do their producing, mixing, and matching at the same time and everything. Now, I could just imagine how difficult that could be because now you gotta. But is it really difficult though? Because since you're the one that's writing it, you're the one they already knows. You already know when you're writing your rhymes where how the sound of beat you want. You already know that. So do you does make it easier for these guys, or does it make it more difficult? Being that some of these guys are pretty much doing everything themselves.
that's true. But you know what? It boils down to two things. The first being that modern artists or independent artists don't have the same budget as before, and they want to do everything themselves to save money first. So that's one thing. The second thing is the standard of music be a little bit lower than in the 90s. You don't need to be a master at your craft to release a okay song that can do well. And lastly, some people prefer to invest the money in the promotion than in the making of the music. And it brings us to the views and all this kind of shit on YouTube and Spotify plays and all this stuff. And yeah, I don't know if you've seen the podcast from T-Pain, and he had a super valid point. Actually, you can be a very mediocre artist, but you can have a nice $200,000 from a label who want to invest in you. You do Google ad promo. For every $100, you can have around 10,000 plays in YouTube. So imagine with $200,000, you will have in 2 days almost 10 million views with your
Not
promotion.
even that. Like realistically, you can be a below average subpar artist working with a really dope engineer.
As well.
You have a good engineer and you have a couple bucks behind you. They're gonna make your sound into the new age sound. They're gonna make it catchy, but not only my son's in the background because he just popped in saying what's up. And then you do the Google ads. So like, and if you've got 200,000 budget behind you, you also got a little bit of money to funnel towards the radio station. So like you can tap into all three of the markets with the engineering, the marketing, and the radio. And then see you later. And just like you said, very easily you can have 10 million views very, very quickly, and now you have a sugar-coated fan base. Now which they like at the end of the day, organic, non-organic doesn't matter. When people see that you have 10 million views,
Yeah, that's the
they're going to
sadness.
listen to you because you've put a couple bucks behind your music.
Right.
So when you put money behind your music, people are more willing. It's like in business and life. I can have an idea, but no one's going to invest in your idea. But when I
Yeah.
have an idea and I have money behind my idea, it becomes that much easier to get outside investment. So if you've invested in non-organic plays and views, people don't care about that. It just shows that you're investing in your product.
That's true, and it snowballs, especially when you start to get into the 1 or 2 millions view territory. It snowball because you reach the top of the algorithm of YouTube.
Facts.
Then it's but this is one point that I absolutely hate about the modern world is fast food value exactly. It's people now tend to see the views to see if you are quality, and they believe that you are quality because you have views. Like recently, I've been on I love as well Japanese R&B, and I've stumbled on that. She's a nice girl from Yokohama. The sound quality is superb. The video, and Japanese, they don't mess around with the quality of video.
Oh no, not at all.
Absolutely crazy. She has 2,000 views, and you see
She's
some
doing it
guys.
organically, though. She's doing it organically.
She's doing it
You can
organically, but
respect that, though.
I do, and I completely do, but I feel sad for her because you have guys who do stuff on their laptop. They're just out of high school. They don't know shit, and they make the money. And good for them. I'm happy for those kids. Don't get me wrong, but there is a kind of unfair market right now. But it is what it is. I don't personally. I don't care anymore. This is not my breadwinner every day, but. Is something that needs to be addressed at one stage, I guess, because but again, it's modern life, I guess.
Now the first question that I had, it was a kind of a double question because I was going to ask if you can give those guys a bit of advice. What would you tell them to, try to make it a little bit easier on them?
Or for the rapper producers?
Yeah.
I think my advice would be a bit what Shakespeare said at first of the at the beginning of the interview, which was, and actually regarding the ideas for this new project, Shakespeare will be the official new DNA of what you call it. We still call it in French DNA, artistic director.
Shakes, you need some royalties if he makes it happen.
Exactly. He will be the artistic
I'll
director.
be the AD. I'll be the AD. Don't worry.
AD, exactly.
I'll be the AD.
And it's don't release too many projects because unfortunately, when you release too many projects, you can't concentrate and focus on the quality. And do a single every 3 months. Make sure that it's well mixed. You can take your time. It's one single every 3 months. You have ample time to do one single every 3 months. And check your rhymes. Make sure they are proper. And spend time on learning. And you know what? There are no more excuses. I grew up in a time that I couldn't even go to the library to try to learn mixing. There was no book about that.
Yeah,
there was
you didn't have
no
Google back then.
Yeah, there was no Google either.
There's no tutorials.
No tutorials. So I would say, again, to reiterate, do singles to start and create your buzz around singles and not albums and not doing 3, 4, 5 albums a year. We're not in the mixtape era anymore. We're in the single era, and that's sort of what it is. And
it's sad.
It's sad, though. Yeah, it is sad.
I miss the mixtapes,
especially in New York. In New York, it was super.
I had 14 Jamaicans on every block selling mixtape albums.
Bro, I miss going on Dat Piff. I miss going on Dat Piff so much. Like, I guarantee you it's still alive and cats are still, but it's just, nah, I'm good.
Yeah, and do you remember that time? I was several times in California and in Vegas, where you go to the Vegas Strip or even in Hollywood Boulevard, and you have the guys selling the tapes. They're playing the tapes in the boom ghetto blaster.
Yeah.
So and they say, "This is me. Come on, buy $5."
Oh, what ghetto blaster? It's a boombox.
Boombox, yeah. We call it ghetto blaster in Europe. Sorry,
I know.
This is
and Canada too. We knew boombox and we knew ghetto blaster. I think the last mixtape that I copped was, this is going back. This was like early Wiz Khalifa mixtapes.
Whoa.
They were sick. I loved old Wiz Khalifa. I don't really fuck with him now. And Corey Guns.
Oh, he was dope. Was
Heir
it
to
the
Throne.
son of Peter Guns? He was
Yeah,
the son of
Heir to the Throne. Like before he signed with Young Money, was so lit. Like back then we were working with Graf, Corey Guns, and the producer, the record label that I managed and ran, and the artists. We were like, you got to get Corey Guns on the track. So we got Corey Guns, we got Graf, and they were making some big noise. They were doing some big things. They made mistakes, so I left, and they weren't taking advice. But like, they got like Mick Boogie and Terry Urban to do their mixtape instead of like DJ Khaled when DJ Khaled was on the come up. They got Kid Famous instead of Drake during Drake's come up, and I was like, I'm gone, I'm out.
You want to know the last mixtape that I fucking bought, bro? Was the Green Lantern mixtape Armageddon 1.
All right.
That was 90. Fuck.
You didn't even cop DJ Clue Can't Impeach the President?
Nah, at that point, my internet worked. I'm being real, nigga. I mean, my internet worked. I didn't have to go get no mixtape. I just went on YouTube, waited 14 days to download, and then I could listen to the track.
Yeah. Do you remember the time in 2002 and 2001? Napster.
Oh,
Napster.
I was the king, bro. I was the king.
Bars. Stop downloading Napster. You're fucking my money up, man.
You know what? I had a friend, and he was in the hood in my hometown, and he was the first on Napster in 2000, mid 2000. And I remember having those hip hop conversation, and at the same time we were looking at his screen, and it was a 56 KB per second modem, and he was like, after 3 or 4 hours we were talking, he was like, I got the new, and he was big shout to him. He's on the call as well, Cyril. He had the biggest catalog of New York boom bap sound of the 90s in my hometown. He say, I got the new Jadakiss, the new single. And I say, yeah, 5 hours to download the fucking single. It was crazy times.
How about LimeWire? You guys ever had LimeWire?
Hell yeah, bro. Bear Share. We had all that. Like,
you know what I asked a lot of people. Everybody like looks at me like there's something wrong with me. We had in New York back. I was like, I would say 8, 9, 10 years old. It was called The Box. So what it is like I don't know if it's a community channel. I forgot. I don't know if everyone had it, but they'll put a line, and each line says the artist, the song, and then they'll have the producer and then the timestamp on how long the track is. And there's a whole bunch of them, and you just start scrolling. And then you call the number, and then you make your request to put like *1 for Biggie Smalls' Juicy, or it shit like that's what we had.
Oh yeah.
And dopest shit in the world, because people, you can comment and they'll put your comment on your request. It's just dopest shit ever.
And question for you, Ray. When you were using LimeWire, I knew a Pinoy, a young kid here in Ireland, and he was one of the biggest users of LimeWire. And one day the cops went to his crib. He was like 15 or 16.
Really?
Was it the same in the States and in North America? Because here it was crazy. The Garda was knocking at the door, like first warning.
If the cops did come to my door, I was probably out that day, but I downloaded almost all of Eminem's albums in my LimeWire. But then it got to a point where I was just like, I fuck with Eminem so much, I need to show love and I need to go buy the fucking CD.
That's dope.
But yeah, LimeWire was the shit though, man. Anything, you could, don't tell my wife, I don't think she's in the chat. You could download porn in LimeWire too. I don't know if anybody told you that, but it's crazy.
There is Boots Kanyete Sikpi. I remember the time where I asked everybody not to use the phone because it will disconnect the internet. Maybe it was because he was downloading porn, actually. What were you doing, Sikpi?
That's exactly, I remember I told my sister, get the fuck off the phone with your boyfriend. I'm trying to watch some videos, man.
Man, from like in my house from like 1 a.m. until 7 a.m. I had like 1,000 albums in queue, so that like if you know everybody's sleeping in the crib, so like that's the download time. Like that
Yeah.
was it. Like
Look
I
at
had.
Shakespeare always with the cheat code, man. It's too late
Dude,
now.
we were the bootleg kids back in the day. We had
Yeah.
every
Oh,
DJ Clue, DJ Envy, Evil D. We had all those mixtapes. Tony Touch, Doo-Wop, the Diaz brothers. Like
oh my
we were
God.
flipping. We were
DJ
flipping all
Clue.
those mixtapes the day that they came out. We had like printers and we were printing their labels with stickers on them. We
Oh
were
yeah.
putting them like, dude, we were fucking selling 1,000 CDs a week easily when we were
Yeah.
like 14, 15, 16. Like I was making more money off mixtapes than my teachers were teaching me. Like
You were already
they're
a
telling me,
businessman. Me, I
they were
was
telling
losing
me
so
like,
much.
why aren't you coming to class? And I'm just like, well, fuck, I got 10 racks in my pocket and I'm in grade 9. Like, well, fucking tell me.
Well, you did the right stuff. Me, I was leaving more money into music than making money back then. I was working like seasonal job from the age 14 just to buy my CDs in the local store where I was, and it was all imports. And you know what? We needed to queue to a cashier and to order the next import of New York or West Coast rap. It was crazy in Europe, man. It was, and we were as well obliged to book every month for the next month to get your copy of the Source magazine.
Yeah. And
You know,
Hip Hop XL.
Hip Hop
Was
Excel
that was
after.
that was that big was that big over there also, Hip Hop
Oh
XL?
yeah. First the Source came out, and then XXL before XXL, when it was the good old times, before they did all this freshman new stuff or whatever. But yeah, fuck you,
The
Mike.
freshman. That was the same as like 5 mics in the Source, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And this was the same. Actually, you know what? No, Freshman was the same as the unsigned hype in the Source.
There you go. I remember
You
when
remember?
Biggie and M were in the
Yeah,
unsigned hype. Like
yeah.
fuck, I'm showing my age now, man. Like I really
We
am.
do.
Like I never should like I never really show my age, but I'm showing my age here. Like it's on full display right now.
Most definitely. But you know what? It's a good thing. We're all between old timers, so you're good here.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, like I don't care how old you are.
Yeah,
You can be older in age. It's just like, but it depends on your mind frame and mentality and where you're at. Like I can still spit circles around 90% of these young bucks, so I don't care. Like at the end
that's
of the
true.
day, we've done our thing.
That's true.
I've had my time, so like I've hung my mic up, brought it back to just to show what's popping and what's good, then hung it back up again. Like whatever.
And my question to you, actually, because you ask me lots of questions and talk about me a lot, but what's your next project and music wise in the Philippines and in Canada and
Um, I don't know. I just went through a bout of severe writer's block. Like everything I'm a freestyler by trade. That's what I do. Like you throw on a beat, I'll go off the top. I'll go. I'm not as good. Like I'm not Harry Mack and Daylight with it, but I'll spit game off the top.
Mm.
But when I would sit down to write pen and pad, I just like couldn't get past the first couple lines, so I would scrap it and just leave it. But now I'm out and I'm writing. So now it's just I'm playing catch up on the projects that I already had on the go.
My bad. I'm sorry that I left for a minute.
not
I
really?
drank so much and I was having such a good conversation, I forgot to pee.
It happens. The best of us.
Finishing up the projects that I have on the go, I'm actually working on a new project. I don't really want to talk about it, a new venture where we're trying to rekindle some of the sounds from back in the day. So we're doing kind of like, it's a little bit harder, but we're doing a death metal hip hop
Body
group
count.
where kind of like that, but the breaks to the hip hop parts are very G funky and hip hoppy, and then the guitars come in really, 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 really hard for the pre-chorus and chorus, so it's really, really heavy. I don't know. I'm at an age where like I got so much side businesses going on that I don't do things half-assed. So you'll see some stuff pop up. You'll see some big projects come on. And I had pre-COVID, we even talked about this before. Some of the artists that I had projects in the works with, all of those are coming back to fruition, and the prices are getting lower because people aren't performing. So whatever their talent fees are now less. So we're negotiating lesser rates. So I'm going to throw out a couple tracks with some big name features, and then I think I'm just going to bounce out for a little while and just kind of go back behind the scenes again.
Yes, nice. And you have your artist project as well to develop, and like the artists you're producing.
Exactly.
That's super dope.
So we do actually have a segment on this channel where we let the guests ask us questions. So feel free to ask Ray Vibe Reactions as well questions. Throw them his way as well.
Okay, let me think about a question. In the video, a lot of Muslims sell bootlegs. Oh yeah, he's bouncing back on
100%. Like you walk down the street and it's like vendor after vendor of bootleg DVDs, bootleg CDs, and it's like no cap, and it's like nothing for nothing, but it's always the Muslim cats. They're always on their hustle. They're always on their grind.
What address is it?
Huh?
What address is it? Because Pornhub is expensive.
He will take a plane ticket just to buy 1,000 bootleg DVDs. Yeah, I have a question for Ray actually, and it's the same kind of question that I could ask you, Shakespeare, as well, and myself as well. Is I'm sure hip hop has been the music that you love the most, and as well a lifestyle. It doesn't necessarily that. I mean, when people say lifestyle, they believe that we're acting the way we used to be when we were young in the streets or traveling and everything. But I mean, it's the music that kind of drives our life. So we all are around the same age. Do you think that, because I've seen a lot of people near me, far from me, when they reach 40, they have kids, they have a family, and they start to say, you know what, hip hop is not from my age, it's not from, and they start to get disconnected from hip hop. So my question is, did you feel that around you? And do you see yourself when you'll be in your 60s or even 70s to still be as much as into hip hop as you are today?
Hip hop, especially in the neighborhood that I was born at, it was such a big part of my life that I don't ever see it going away. I can listen to hip hop when I'm 110. It don't matter. I listen to all genres of music. I listen to rock. I listen to the metal. I listen to country, gospel. I even have my wife actually a couple birthdays ago bought me a disc of just a whole bunch of Beethoven beats. Oh well, not beats, but Beethoven.
Well, they are beats because there's no vocals.
Sounds weird.
They're all instrumentals. Like, let's be real.
All of it, and like I said, as long as the production is there and is a good quality song, I don't ever see it die. Like right now with the new wave that is coming through with the supposed mumble rap that's coming out, I'm not gonna say I don't listen to it because then I'll be lying my ass off. There are some songs that I fuck with hard. But in the way I see it, and the way I talk to my wife about it, is it really the rapper or is it the production that I'm actually digging because it's a good vibe? Like I'm listening more to the beats than I'm doing anything else to be realistic with you. Just because I understand that the beat is what makes the song.
Perfect. So you're a hip hop lifer, but have you got friends or people that you can't understand because they were so into hip hop? And I'm not saying that as an artist side. I'm not being an artist, just a fan of hip hop and a listener of hip hop. That at a part of their life say, it's not me anymore. And they have spent 15 years of their life listening to this. And from one particular day, they say, I'm switching. I'm done. Do you know people like that?
I don't know how you can do that. You can't be a hip hop head and just fucking.
I have a boy. I actually have a boy in New York that exactly what you explained. He was doing it, but he was doing it like every 3 months.
All right.
Like he'll be fucking with hip hop hard for 3 months, and then he'll completely come to school with a leather fucking jacket and glasses, and now he's listening to fucking rock and shit. And then 3 months after that, he's coming back talking about all this gospel type of, and I'm just like, bro, make up your mind. Like, you don't know
See,
what.
see, I'm exactly different from
Swear
that.
off the other genre. He was like, I don't know what the fuck I was thinking. That's not music. This is music. And I was like, bro, that you acting like it was 3,000 years ago. It was 3 months ago.
See, I'm the exact opposite of that. Like, my father went to Woodstock. I grew up around the 60s and 70s music. My dad's a hippie. My dad is a world-renowned finger-picking guitarist. My brother had the largest independent rock group in Toronto music history. My father's brother had the largest Beatles tribute band. His twin sister is a jazz lounge singer like Billie Holiday. So I literally grew up around like amazing musicians, singers. Like when my family would get together and have a bar, like a barbecue, a family get together, everybody would bring guitars and just sing. And like my friends would stop playing video games, go upstairs just because they were like, really? So like, yeah, I can turn off the hip hop but when I'm in the car and I'm cruising, because that's really the only time I listen to music is when I'm in the car. Or I'm in the studio, obviously, because I work in it. But it's always, you always go back to hip hop. But am I gonna play like NWA with my 5-year-old beside me? Probably not. I'm gonna tone it down a little bit. You know what I mean?
You crazy. My kid was 3 and one of my sons was 3 and the other one was 1. And I had the Marshall Mathers LP playing in the car.
Yeah, but I'm gonna let my kids decide. They discover, just like my parents let us discover what we discovered growing up. I'm gonna let my kids find themselves.
My son hates Eminem right now, so I already played that shit out for him so much that he doesn't even like it no more.
Yeah, but he likes Joyner though.
He loves. My wife loves Joyner.
There would be no Joyner without M. No. So like it's the same thing, just a different name of the artist.
And he's not talking that reckless shit that Eminem talks about sometimes.
That's interesting, but yeah, it's because for myself, I'm telling you, I'll still be doing.
Can you turn it off? It's always G-funk. It's always hip hop, eh?
It will be hip hop, even when I will be 80s. I'm not changing, and just because I'm getting older, so it's bring back to the same conversation that we had before. Like, it's not a matter of age; it's just what you like, and for some people, it's a passion that is only during their teenage time, and for some others, it's just for life.
See, that's what I'm talking about. It's just me. I'm always going to go right back to hip hop. That's where music, because my parents are both Dominican, so I was brought up in a lot Spanish music.
Yeah, salsa and all.
Loved it. I loved it.
So like reggaeton, you fucking with that?
Huh?
Are you fucking with the reggaeton?
Reggaeton. There's in Dominican Republic, it's something called dembo. It's not reggaeton, but it's more the Dominican side of it. It's like reggaeton, but with lyrics. So it's called dembo. So the beat sounds similar. Everything sounds the same. So you can mix it up. But these guys are spitting bars on it instead of drugs, cars, money, women.
Actual, like they're actually spitting game.
They're like, if I translate it in English, it's trash.
Got you.
But what they're saying in our dialect in Dominican, because all the Spanish-speaking countries have different dialects of Spanish.
Yeah.
So the words I understand what they're saying back to me on the track, it's like they're spitting bars. They're spitting like Royce the 5'9", Joel Ortiz, Slaughterhouse type bars. But they're doing it on a reggaeton beat.
It's lit.
So it's a lot of speed rap, but if you could catch it, you could catch it.
Yeah.
And me being bilingual, it's easier for me than if I play it for you guys right now. You guys are gonna be like, "What the fuck did he just say?"
Speaking about playing it, we got another song from this man pulled up. Why don't we jump right in? Why don't we get into it?
Let's go.
We got another laid back track pulled up here.
Facts.
This one is All Roads Lead West. RBS, Von Jackson, LC Johnson, Quick to Mac.
LC Johnson, he was part of Soul Assassins and Cypress Hill Circle.
Oh,
So
real, eh?
he did the ghostwriting on the track with Dre and what's his name? The Be Real Puppet Master
really?
on Soul Assassin,
Really?
and he did as well the track Ice Cube Killer when Cypress Hill were beefing with Ice Cube.
Yeah. That was
Just to give a bit of background of who LC Johnson is.
Nice.
So let's get into this.
Let's go.
Get it now. West Revolution. Narrator X. Alongside Laidback Sounds. Yeah. We're on teams. For real. Anyone test it,
He's fucking lit.
Ready now. Ready now. Next to G West, what the fuck you telling me? Firm definition of grimy nasty. Number 7, bet I rep the R when the steel toe boot to the yard. Oh Lord, clear the runway, he about to crash again. Exmo West and Kanye Kardashian. Mr. International run to get in now, so imagine me rocking my black face in Vienna. Exmo the real type, catch me in Ireland. He set the baller, drunk from a bar crawl. And the spells of the words have long reach. Now Paris is just like Long Beach. Laid back and create the sound. Firm foundation, what can knock it down? Pump them out of bounds and get knocked around. Smoked up like Seth, all roads lead west.
West Coast, stand up. Give it up, that's how we do it. I'm so beat, you keep it moving. I'm just a little laid back with the sound. West Coast, stand up. Give it up, that's how we do it. I'm so beat, you keep it moving. All roads lead west.
I made my first debut back in 96. Mug shook me around the world, Soul Assassin click. Rapping wise, fed no man was a young gunner. 20 years later, still taking all comers. From LA to Moscow, we ripped so many stages. Rubles, euros, and pounds, currency they paid us. British airplanes from UK to Paris. I put my life in the words and the fans they cherish. Laid back on the track so you know it's bomb. Project kid from 88 to Avalon. It's my CDs sell out in record time. Mr. International, I be on my grind. In Montreal, I had them French girls going nuts. They had their boyfriends with them, but I didn't give a fuck. If I wasn't blackballed, I would have been the best. But I'm back now and all roads lead west.
West Coast, stand up. Give it up, that's how we do it. I'm so beat, you keep it moving. I'm just a little laid back with the sound. West Coast, stand up. Give it up, that's how we do it. I'm so beat, you keep it moving. All roads lead west.
I'm on the 710 fast lane, swerving out, pedal to the metal. Long Beach cashing out. To whom it may concern, action about my whereabouts. I'm in the lab working, laid back, blasting out. All roads lead west, even driving south. 1,000 promos in my trunk, I'm about to pass them out. Extra, step up and read about it. Money back in is everything, how they gon' live without it? My passport stay stamped, I brought the whole camp to show them how it's done and how the West was won. Step up, events is overcrowded. Everybody's supporting it, watch what they say about it. You leave it up to me, I bring the whole city. I never turn my back, why? Because they ride with me. I'm signing out with a blunt in my mouth. All roads lead west on the 17 set.
West Coast, stand up. Give it up, that's how we do it. I'm so beat, you keep it moving. I'm just a little laid back with the sound. West Coast, stand up. Give it up, that's how we do it. I'm so beat, you keep it moving. All roads lead west.
Yeah. We're on teams.
Put up there.
Anyone catch it,
The new generation, the son of Quick the Mac.
That was fire.
Again, that was
Fuck
All
you.
roads lead west. RBS, Vaughn Jackson, LC Johnson, Quick to Mac, produced by your boy, Laid Back Sounds.
That video was something we spent a full day doing that video, and we've been to LA downtown. Then we've been to Long Beach Hills to do the second shot, and the third shot we ended up in a car garage. They are rebuilding and repairing all the Mustangs. There was like 30 or 40 Mustangs in the garage when we filmed the video, and it was in Compton. It was in Compton, so it was a trip because I knew those guys. I knew Quick the Mac, of course, but I know the other guys through the net. And when you're organizing your project and everything, your fear is we will go from different neighborhood to different neighborhood in one day,
different
turf to turf, exactly. And they were so cool because they really follow. We all follow each other from turf to turf. We even eat in a restaurant in Long Beach in a typical joint
diner,
in
like a diner.
Diner, exactly, that they all knew there in Long Beach. And it's funny because that day was absolutely amazing when we meet up all in Inglewood in the parking lot of my motel, which was funny. We started to talk about politics and chopping it up about different stuff, about music, politics, different topics and worldwide topics. And LC Johnson said, Von Johnson is the R&B singer. He's from Long Beach as well. He used to be in the same group as Quick the Mac, and he used to be as well to be the bodyguard of Trey D from the East Siders.
Trey D, that's a name I haven't heard in a
yeah.
minute.
Exactly. And he was saying, I can't believe that. So LC Johnson is from Linwood, and they have worked together before, but never met in 40 years living in LA. And they say, you need to have a French guy flying all across from Europe to have us kind of meet each other.
To make the connection.
This is just absurd and beautiful at the same time. But, it's to show how LA is divided, and you can live in a radius of 20, 40 kilometers and you will never meet the other guy. I mean, it's amazing.
Crazy.
It's crazy. So we have... And there is another link that I didn't share, but it's another dope track, and I've done the same concept. So I invited Losta, who wrote for Eazy-E. He did lots of lyrics for Eazy-E, and he was signed on the Ruthless Records. And I had a concept for that track. I have one of my homie and a very good rapper, Dennis Tycoon, is from Thai Town in LA. In LA, you have a district, it's East LA. It's only Thai people, and this is the second biggest community of Thai people in the world after Bangkok, after Thailand.
Wow.
And I say to the guy of South Central, to LA, to Losta, I say, we'll do the first scene in Thai Town. So you have a big truck coming down to Thai Town with Losta and his homies, solid guys from South Centrals, in the middle of Thai Town, full of Asians, and Dennis Tycoon is Thai American from LA. And we did the first shot in Thai Town. So you see Losta with a 50 centimeters blunt in the middle of Thai Town. and even Dennis Tycoon say, wow, that's so amazing that we see guys from South Central here. And we shot as well another scene after in a little bit further in the railway, next to the abandoned railway, with the guys as well. And we ended up in another district. So we were really crossing different neighborhoods and navigating, and it was just amazing. And what I've really noticed, if you give good vibes, you receive only good vibes. Like when Losta came, we get along very well, but he has his homies. You never know the homies, that he brings. And at first they were a bit looking like, yeah, who is this dude? But I just said, hey, you want to be in the video? Come on. And after that, we were chopping it up, and like we were homies for the last 20 years, and we're not even from the same place,
That's dope.
And it's just about, and I say, this is about music, man. And it's the same story. Guys.
So even though you were in some of the most dangerous parts, like stereotypically in the West, you never feared for anything. You just vibed, chilled out, and enjoyed yourself.
Of course, for the most part, and I didn't have a bad experience at all. Sometimes but there is a few anecdotes. Like we were shooting in Long Beach, and during one scene that RBX was shooting in front of the petrol kind of, the petrol pump that you've seen in that video, there is a car who came next to us and the window down, and RBX was doing his stuff in front of the video. He was more West, like more West than Kenny Kardashian, that kind of stuff. That line is dope. More West than Kenny Kardashian, and suddenly he looked, because you're in the middle of Long Beach, whatever, and
When a
he
car
looked at them, yeah,
pulls
and the
up with
guys
the
were
windows
looking,
down.
yeah, windows down, like what the fuck are you doing here, or whatever. And RBX as an OG look at them and he say, West Coast, I'm Long Beach. And the guys pull the window up, drive away. It was so Long Beach, so LA. Another time during the day, there were a few Mexicans who came to us and said, "Oh, you were shooting a video, blah blah blah," and they were so cool about it. And the guys chop it up with the homies, and we gave them cards and, yeah, check when the video is released. Like, Long Beach is super nice. I mean, to me. And after in Compton and all, it was fine as well. And the videographer I had was actually dope, because he's a French dude who married an Afro-American woman from Crenshaw. He's, believe it or not, I was drinking some Hennessy with him on his balcony.
My
And
God,
suddenly-
Hennessy.
yeah, exactly. Some Hennessy on the balcony, and I look left, and I said, "Man, is this the Nipsey shop?" And the videograph was like, "Maybe, you know what? Um, I don't know." I say, "Let's go." It was just across the street. It was
That's
Nipsey
fucking
also
lit,
shop.
man.
And he said, "I didn't even know." And his wife like, "Come on, I told you 10 times. You're sleeping. You're working all day long. Blah blah blah." And it was
That's
so funny.
cool,
We went
man.
there straight away. I said, "We need to go to Nipsey shop. Come on." And we shop
Facts.
it up a bit with his, yeah, exactly. We shop it up a bit with his brother, with Nipsey's brother. And yeah, and yeah, to come back to your question as well, man, I can say this. Yeah, Colarossi, I was always welcomed by all you guys. Like, I was always feeling safe because I had a solid entourage as well. I won't lie. I know you were afraid for me when I was lost in San Diego at one stage, because at one stage I was driving around alone, and they were at the dinner with their homies, and they say, where the fuck is Laidback? And I was lost in the street called Rebel Street or whatever. I never feel fear for my life, because I knew that I had some solid backup as well. But we had some adventures, that for sure.
Laid
when
back, Bloods, Crips, and Latin King. That's why they.
Yeah. Yeah, and you know what? On top of that, when I met Colarossi in his neighborhood there, and he say, "Oh, you know what? You can park your car here. It's safe. It's one of the leader of the bikers. You know."
Oh,
You know that? I say your car will never be touched, and I was laughing. But of course, as a foreigner, I won't lie. There are some moments that I was wondering. Not when when I was with my friends like Colarossi, Quick the Mac, and time to time when I was alone. Of course, when I was at one stage, I was in Crenshaw, and I was eating in one spot that do some nice sandwiches. The owner was the guy in Death Row who was doing the raga voices. I don't know if you remember on NWA tracks, and he has a nice
Really?
burger hot dog joint, and I was there. And of course, time to time you wonder, but you know what? It was for most of the time. When I was in Inglewood, for example, there was a truck who pulled up, and guys opened the window in a very aggressive way. Where are you parked? Where are you parked? We need some parking. And my answer, and they were solid guys. My answer to that was like, listen to me speaking. Do you think I'm from here? And I know your habits. And the guy suddenly he smiled and he say, "What the fuck is that crazy accent?" I say, "I'm French. I don't know your customs." I from what you're saying, you're looking for a parking car, and it was in deep Inglewood. Like, it's not like it was not the nice part of Inglewood. And I said, "Okay, I get it." I say, "Follow me." And the guy after that were just like, "Hey man, have a good trip in the States." And
that's fire.
all what people saying, of course there were dangerous places and so on, but
Yeah,
I
but
think,
I guess it's like this. The saying goes, like you look for trouble, trouble finds you. You're just there
yeah,
to do your shit. People are
yeah,
gonna leave you the fuck alone. But then again, you're in the hood. In certain parts in the hood, like you could not be looking for no trouble, and you just
yeah,
stand out like a sore thumb. And trouble's gonna find you no matter what. But for the most part, people don't give a fuck who you are or what you're doing. You're not there to cause trouble. You're not with a big. If you're there and you're from out of town with a big clique, maybe that's a different story.
yeah, exactly.
But if you're
Totally
just one or two guys fucking walking around, yeah, you may be a target, but they don't
exactly.
give a fucking shit. You're not there flipping on their corner. You're not taking money. Like you're not doing something. Like, you're just fucking eating a sandwich in a restaurant.
I actually got pulled to the side by a specific gang. I ain't gonna say the name of it because it's happened a long time ago. So it is
For
what it is.
sure.
And you got I like this is not a vibe reactions. This is not an act. I am loud. I say reckless shit. Since I was fucking 10. And I was walking out of school one day. Across the street, there was my boy, and I'm screaming at him and I'm talking all types of shit. And like it sounded like we were about to get into a fight. So the leader, the main dude in my neighborhood of this gang, literally pulls me to the side and says, "You fucking my money up."
Oh, that's never a good sign, man. That's not a good
Get
sign.
off my corner.
A fucking 11-year-old brother, like what? And he's like, "You fucking my money up." A lot of you get. It sounds like you guys are about to fucking fight. If the cops come through here, you're gonna owe me some bread. And I went. At that time, I was stupid. I didn't
Yeah.
know who he was. So I told him in the Ray way that I say things. I'm like, "Who the fuck are you to tell me what to say?"
Yeah.
I said that. I swear that boy beat me to the point that I thought I was gonna die right then and there in that motherfucking street. But then the crazy part about it is, literally 2 days after I got that ass whooping, he comes to the side and he was just like, "I give you all the respect in the fucking world because you talk to me like that."
Yeah.
And
I
that's
know exactly.
what it is. So I mean, I wasn't in no Cali. In Cali, I would have shut the fuck up. That's where the gangs were fucking created at. I'm
Yeah,
not
that's true.
I know. But in New York, they're a little bit fucking crazy over there too. You gotta watch what you say, watch what
Oh
you
yeah. Oh yeah, but you know what as well? For me in California, I was in a different state of mind. I was pretty sick when I was there. I was 15 kilo less, and I say, you know what? I have to do those videos. It's a project. No matter what happens, it happens. And I know it sounds stupid, but if I'm and Shakespeare is totally right. You can have the best intentions, but you can be in the wrong spot at the wrong time,
right.
alone or with friends. It doesn't matter. And I was like, I know it can be one of very few possibilities, but it can happen. But I was so determined and so actually happy and enthusiastic to meet the homies and the friends that I say, you know what, don't give a shit. Whatever happens, happens. And I never had that apprehension as well because I'm telling you, I've been in some places in the world. Um, like Zimbabwe was the one lifetime experience of a life. It was the ghetto here is not even ghetto; it's slums. It's you will never see. I've seen stuff that I will never see again in my life, and I was actually shocked a bit. There was a political crisis back then. It was like very dangerous for white people as well to be there. People were asking me was when I entered in the airport, they asked me what I was doing there, what I was doing here. Why did you come? And I say I came down because I gave my word to one of my best friend to be the best man of his wedding, and he was a local. And when I arrived, people gave me respect for that because I was one of the only white guy passing through the border. My friend was African,
Wow.
black African, and they made me a few problems in the border, but I was lucky because the door opened up and they saw that my homie was black, and they say, "You the best man of this man?" I say, "Yeah." He said, "Wow, it's not common at all." And you know what the white people did in because people don't know the history of Zimbabwe, but the apartheid there, the apartheid like in South Africa was actually worse than in South Africa. The oppression from the white British people that they were doing to the native black Africans there were terrible. I don't say that it was nothing in South Africa because it was terrible, but Zimbabwe is unknown to people around the world. So when I was there was a bit of background, of but everything happened well. I did a speech in the church in front of 500 people, and so that's why after that, when I go to California or even in the Philippines, I don't say that there are moments that you're a bit self-doubting. You say, should have been here, should have, but I have that kind of experience. And again, it's life. Anything can happen, even in your place where you're so comfy as well.
Sometimes it happens in the places you least expect it to happen.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? Colarossi has a funny one. What happened after eating the bush meat? Well, the 30 times in the toilet every day, man. That's the thing in Africa. It's a beautiful place, but the water, the malaria, and everything is something you need to. The first week you're there, you will be sick. That's a fact.
Natural laxatives.
Exactly. The water from the well and so on. But yeah, it's life experience and everything. Now again, past my 40 years old with a family and everything, there are some stuff that I will never do again in my life. You know the way it is. I mean, it's growing up as well and be conscious on some dangers. But
See, that's
but we grew up street smart. Some people don't have street smarts, right? So like they're gonna find trouble because they're just dumb motherfuckers. You throw a Karen in the wrong, I call them Camerons. The guys are Camerons. You throw a Cameron or a Karen in the wrong fucking place, and they're just gonna do them. They're gonna find trouble. Like
they're gonna find it 100% of the time.
You take someone from the burbs and throw them in an area they're not supposed to be in, and they still be themselves. Like
that's true.
Trouble's gonna find you.
That's so true.
Because there's some spots that I've heard in Cali that the cops don't even fucking go to.
Yeah, that's for sure.
So I mean, imagine a Karen going over there doing her Karen thing, and she's in the middle of fucking Compton or Inglewood. No, not knowing that the cops will not show up when you call these motherfuckers.
You're not know.
You're in a situation right now.
That's really true. But you know what? Funny enough, actually, my favorite spot, and I was there only 3 days and a half, was actually San Diego. San Diego was fantastic, and Colarossi brought me to some spot, to some in the Mexican old side of. I don't really remember the name. Colarossi will tell you better, but the Mexican old town part of San Diego. We ate in a typical Mexican restaurant.
It's so close to the border, right?
Oh, yeah. It's like it's touching the border.
Like it's right on the border.
Exactly, and some fantastic experience.
Over and just started building right when they crossed over. I'm making a spot right here.
You want some chimichangas? That's where you go. That's where you go.
I'm sorry. Authentic Mexican food is better than Taco Bell bullshit.
Oh man, it's no comparison.
Is the lick. It's the man. You guys they don't have that in the Philippines. Like you guys are making me hungry. I want a burrito. I haven't had a burrito in 4 years.
Exactly, and you know what? The place is so chill and so. Again, there are some spots that you don't have to necessarily be if you're a foreigner like me, but I mean the people are nice there, and the food. I was really surprised because I found the food really superior compared to LA. Like the first night I arrived, I went in the steakhouse and Colarossi was always as well like, oh, you in that one? I know that one, blah blah blah. And it was really nice. I just chilled. I look at the final. Actually, it was LeBron playing against. It was Cleveland. That back in the day, it was like 3 years ago. So it was Cleveland versus I don't remember. And I was enjoying the steak before. And the day after, we shot the video. And it's the kind of for me this is life. Like you have nice food, you meet nice guys, nice people, and you have fun. And it's like a music communion.
Facts.
And I'm living for this shit, man. It's just meeting new people and who are like-minded. It's the best for me.
That's exciting though, man. Knowing that you're in old places that you've been to and meeting all these different type of people and collaborating with all this stuff. That's the life right there, man.
You've put me on and introduced me laid back to like a bunch of people. And the
That's true.
people that I've connected with through you, we all shared the same sort of mind frame, chilled,
Yeah.
laid back, sociable, approachable, like just chill vibe out mindset. That's what I find. I just from what I've seen, the people that you allow into your circle all have very similar traits in certain ways.
Yeah, but it's because I've dealt with so many people before, so many people before, different like you say, characters and all. And again, I pass an age. Like when I'm in the studio, I want to have fun. Sometimes you have some guys, they don't know you, they want to record with you, and they want to show you that they're coming from this hood or this place, and they're acting in a certain way. And usually I'm not taking that. I'm like, you know what, we are here to record. I don't really care.
It's
Right.
work.
I'm not here to be impressed, and it will be hard to impress me because I visited most of the dangerous place in the world. Maybe except Latin America, but yeah, and for me, it's you have to be really. There used to be a time that I used to record any type of people, and every type of people entered in my place. I was young and stupid. Never anything happened to me, but you want to be to create a safe circle, and it's not even safe, it's just like fun. I'm here to have fun. I'm not here to like a guy come to your studio one day and is in bad mood and say, you know what, I want this, like this shit, yeah, fuck you and all this. uh, I've witnessed that. It never happened to me, but I witnessed that when I've been in different studios, and this is not a way to be.
It's negativity brings more negativity.
Yeah,
And
and as well.
Coming in with
Yeah,
that,
I've seen brawls in the studio before.
yeah,
I'm just like, what are you guys
same.
doing, man? And this is when this is
It's
before the digital era. So
Mm,
you had a box specifically for compression. You had a box they're smashing easily $20,000 worth of equipment because if you wanted that plugin, you had to buy the box for that plugin.
exactly.
And I'm just like, man, when I'm in the studio, it's all about work. I don't drink, I don't smoke. It's
Same.
maybe I'll smoke, but it's work, it's business,
You
man.
can have a beer or two, or a few blunts. It's fine. There is no problem, but it has to be in a good atmosphere, and this is the best way to work for me. Um,
Yeah.
for the rest, is like in France, it's the same. Sometimes people bring an entourage of 20 people. They order pizza. You have
Because they
girls,
think
and
it's like the
this is
movies. They
yes,
think it's the movies.
yes. It's bullshit. Bring one or two solid homies. There is absolutely
My
no problem.
yeah,
But
but
that's
my
it.
wa-
as
my
these
wa- my wife always had that impression and tell him you want to come to the studio and see what happens. She left 20 minutes later. She's like, this is so boring. I'm like, yeah, I'm writing music and recording. What you think happened? We had strippers in here and stuff. Come on.
Yeah.
She's like, where's the groupies? I'm like, what are you
see,
talking about?
that's where it kind of pisses me off sometimes because knowing that there's these rappers that come into the fucking studio and they're not taking it up like it's your job. You don't want to call it a job, but this is how you making your money. So why
Yes.
wouldn't you take that shit serious?
Yeah.
Like I said, my boy is a producer in New York, and he has a couple of rappers out there that it's local type shit, but they go in there, they record all the time, and it's like the last thing they do is write. They're too worried about the bitches they got in there, the drugs, the alcohol, the food that's about to come, and they worry more about everything else. But yo, you're here to write music. So my boy gets upset every single fucking time. I saw it one time. He literally kicked the rappers out. He said, "I'll refund you your money. Get the fuck out.
Yeah. I've
You
done that once as well.
come here to work.
God
I'm
bless
done."
you.
That yeah, I totally can relate, and it's so true what you're saying. The thing is, I'm kind of blessed because all the people that I'm working with now, they have their home studio as well, so they're
Right.
recording their part now in their place, and we work so fast like that when we do a song. It's the best I think now, and it's actually matching the question you were answering me before. A lot of rappers self reliable now to record, and I think it's a good thing because they have plenty of time to rehearse, and now, like when I work, for example, with Marv, with Sick P, with Colarossi, Quick Domac, or the sound quality is always nice. most of the times. Like
Everybody has
98,
a good mic now. Everybody's got a good setup now.
everybody has a
For the
good
most,
setup.
for the most part.
Yeah, exactly. And actually, funny fact, we are trying to set up a nice studio in the Philippines in Marv's place as well.
Dope.
So
And
we
Dumaguete, right?
in Dumaguete, we're upgrading the equipment. Like we'll have Yamaha speakers, Sennheiser and Neumann mics and all this kind of stuff. So
That's dope.
That's dope.
to maybe make a little business as well, because in Dumaguete it's a bit like in where you are, Shakespeare. Um,
Province.
there are not many people with many studios there.
No, it's the
not
province life. It's like there's the big
province
cities
life.
close to us, but we're in the province. But there's
Yeah.
so many spitters in the barrios and
Yeah.
in the villages around here. It's crazy
Definitely.
how many good spitters there are.
There are so many, and but they don't have the sound quality, so we'll try to remedy to that. And but that's not the first objective. The first objective that even to upgrade, it's to upgrade the equipment of the homies first.
Yeah, of course.
And because my goal, like we have done the first album of Marv there, my goal is every album we will go up a notch quality wise. And yeah, that's it. It's no, it's a nice trip in the Philippines as well, because especially I was so lucky because I really met people who were in the same kind of music as me. And in the Philippines, trust me, there are not many guys in G-Funk. Even the track I've done before Shakespeare, actually it has like 700,000 views now. That Joyride with
Yep.
Mr. Blaze.
Yep.
It's the guys are kind of known in the Philippines, but they're not G-Funk. And they reach out to me to have for one project the G-Funk sound. So that was pretty dope,
That's awesome.
It's lit.
because they're more into they represent the Mosux part of the Philippines. So they affiliated to Bone Thugs and Harmony, but they rap
So like
more on.
they're affiliated with the 187 mobsters.
Yes, those guys, exactly. And they usually rap on different kind of beats, but they reach out.
They're more into like the fast
Yeah.
trappy. But I find that what's really everywhere is the generic double time flow in the Philippines.
Mm.
There's so many cats that just they're so caught up in the double time flow, and it's generic. Every artist sort of sounds the same.
Oh,
and
right
the
now,
trends-
yeah. Exactly. Right now, yeah, but those guys, Blaze and Kane, they're actually the forefather of the Bone style in the
Yeah.
Philippines.
Yeah.
And it's funny because a lot of youngsters who are more into the pop rap with the double time fast rap, they tend to forget sometimes that those two guys were the kind of creator of the Bone styles in the Philippines.
Blaze.
That's why Blaze, exactly, and that's why they got kudos and accolades from Bone Thugs themselves. Like they are legit, and it was a dope experience. I put again some flute on the track, Ray. That's for you.
I love flutes on the track.
Are
On
you
the floor-
are you on the
Sorry.
new Calarossi album coming out that you guys were talking
No,
about?
the new Colarossi will be exclusively fully produced by my friend who was on the call earlier, Oh Boy Dilla,
Oh
aka
boy,
Fetty Francois. Yeah.
shout out to you, my
Dope.
So
That's lit.
that's it. And for the coming project, yeah, it will be like I'm preparing a full length Filipino album, full G-Funk, a group called Brown Poetics that actually is made from Marv and Sick P.
Sick. That's dope.
So
Now,
that's
I
the
got another question for you. When you're producing a beat that has multiple people in it,
Yeah.
compared to just one person. Now I know it's going to be longer because there's multiple people rapping on it, but do you find it more difficult because they all got different sounds?
That's so true. And different mics as well. So to match the equalization, the compressing, and the compressor and everything. Usually, it's very simple. The more people you have on the track, the harder the mix is. It's as simple as this.
Sorry.
Because
Sorry about the track we did. We had like 5 guys on the track. Sorry.
it was. I know. I don't know why. I knew you would say that. I knew you will talk about the
Sorry.
track. It was a challenge, but you know what? It's a good challenge because it's you gain experience as well, and you gain a bit more knowledge because you need to use different plugins and different tools for different voices to match the same quality. So it's tough. It's a big job, but you can do it. There is absolutely no issues. But it's an interesting question for sure. It's very
The
interesting.
homeboy Picasso that you've worked with a couple of times, my homeboy, he actually just moved back to Cali. He's back in San Francisco now.
I've seen that. And
Yeah.
actually, you know what? I worked with him through Arrow. Arrow is a dot. Another famous artist in the Philippines. Yeah, he is dope. He's for good in the California, or he will go back to the Philippines.
He's from Cali. He's
Oh, I know, yeah.
Filipino. He's
From the Bay.
Filipino from Cali.
From the Bay, yeah.
Came back with his family and shit to Manila for like 20 years, and the game plan was to always go back to the States. And
So
now,
it's back.
so his daughter got her green card, so now they went back
Wow.
to the States. So he's pretty much there for good.
Wow. Okay. I believe it was just for like holidays or stuff like that. Okay. That's
But
a
like
good
he's
news.
from like Rocksteady Crew. Like he was a
Yeah.
break dancer in Rocksteady Crew back in the
Yeah.
day with like crazy legs and stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, for sure. I remember that.
Broke his neck doing a head spin, and so that's why his head's like, if you look, it's always
Yeah.
tilted to the side. But the b-boy was in him, so he started rhyming and stuff like that. And when he moved back here, just being the Filipino foreigner, met Francis M, all that other stuff, and millions of views, trophies, all that other stuff.
For sure, yeah. I know well his CV. Very interesting anyway, but I didn't know he was there for good, back for
So now
good.
he's back in the States full time, but his Filipino connection is there. So when it comes to the music game,
Yeah.
he's
Yeah,
always
for
going to tap into both markets.
Yeah, especially in the Bay. He's in the Bay, so the Bay is Filipino. You know, even if 40 is saying that, Filipinos were even across the street, and he was eating lumpia already from an early age. Lumpia, spring rolls, and
Yeah.
he has a joint now. Actually, 40 in the Bay. He has a lumpia restaurant.
He's a Filipino restaurant.
It's a Filipino restaurant made by.
Is his wife Filipino?
No, but one of his best friend is, and he's the chef of that restaurant.
That's sick. That's
Yeah.
sick.
It's super sick.
I need Malou to open up a restaurant because all the pictures that she should be showing on Instagram of the food that she cooks, she needs to open a restaurant. I'll be the one that introduces the customer to the table and shit if she wants. But I am dying to try some real Filipino food.
Oh, bro, you're
That's
gonna
dope.
fucking. I'm telling you this right now. Before you come to the Philippines, fast.
Yeah.
Go on like a 3-day fast and come out here because you're not gonna stop eating. You're gonna eat. You have no idea. You have no idea how good the food is out here.
Yeah, that's true. Gloria just said that Ray actually reviewed the track featuring Blaze, apparently. Yeah. It's
I've
yeah,
done a whole bunch of
done
187
some-
Mobsters
yeah.
reactions on my channel. They're lit.
that's true. You have done one songs as well, if I remember.
I've done one. My channel. I'm in the Philippines. I'd say about 45% of my channel is Philippine
That's
artists.
true.
I'd say about 75 to 80% of my channel is Southeast Asian artists. I just feel like I'm
That's
here.
true.
May as well tap into the culture, give a little bit back if they can get some views. Fucking right, and like whatever.
That's true.
It is what it is.
That's true. And your blood is not.
I react to a dog pissing in the corner. It don't matter. I love music. Period.
That's dope.
Facts.
That's dope. But yeah, it's that's it. If you got another other questions, like you can start to hear my English get worse and worse because of the time. I don't know if you noticed that, but I start to stutter.
Yeah, bro. Like what time is it for you?
Listen, if you want.
What
It's
time
almost-
is it for you right now?
It's almost 4 a.m. I think. I'm fine. I'm fine. But you can notice the level of English.
bro. On that note, like I love everybody that's in the chat. I appreciate everybody for fucking vibing out.
Laid back.
Xavier, like you already know what it is. We fam, homie.
I know.
Now
I'm
you're
fan of you
fam.
too.
Now you're fam to the podcast, but I'm gonna let you go to bed, homie. I
I'm
feel
gonna
really bad.
maybe tomorrow your time about
For sure.
beat and
Yeah,
all.
for sure. I have you on Instagram as well, so feel free to reach out in Instagram. For me, it's a real pleasure. You know, if it will not be in the middle of the night, I will continue to talk maybe for 3 more
Dude,
hours.
I told you we call this the chill session because It's like a bunch of homies chilling, vibing out, shooting the shit. That's what we do here. And it doesn't feel like we've been in this for 3.5 hours, but it's late.
Not at all.
It really didn't. I just looked up right now. I saw it's 3 hours and 22. And I was like, nigga, we just started talking.
Yeah, I know.
Facts.
Same feeling. And I really appreciate your time and effort for this, and to keep it real, like asking those questions, even when we talk about different stuff. Maybe some other people would have stayed politically correct about few topics, but I think it's interesting to.
It makes for a good podcast
as well. Yeah,
it was a great conversation, though. Great fucking conversation.
Most definitely,
homie.
So, thanks again. You. Thanks very much.
Shakey Vibe Podcast.
Thank you so much. Don't forget, my man Shakey is at 16,000 subscribers, and I just got into 15,000 today.
On that note, you guys doing really well, because to pass the 10K, not even to pass the 1K, 2K, when you indie, it's a big thing. So when you reach 15K plus, man, this is a big achievement.
Oh,
yeah,
dude.
It's crazy.
Like,
it's crazy. We're averaging, both of us are averaging between 3,000 to 4,000 subscribers a month.
Wow, that's massive. And you know what? But you know what the work shows, because I'm subscribed to both of your channels, and sometimes I'm like, I'm during the day, I'm at work, and I've got the notifications from YouTube, and I'm like, there is another Shakespeare video. How does he do this? Sometimes there is 2 or 3, and I'm like, how those guys are doing to have their normal everyday life. I guess it's like mixing or making music.
Hunger.
Well, I wish you more. I wish you triple and quadruple of that in the next few months.
God bless, brother. Stay up. Obviously,
Thanks
we're gonna keep in touch. And
for sure.
On that note, Shakey Vibe Podcast, episode 15 with your boy Laidback Sound. We out.
Peace out. Ingat. Bye bye.